against Aberdeen in the group stage of the Europa Conference League with Rory Loy and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. Good evening, everyone. Well, the Aberdeen players down in front of us, the players who just lined up for the Europa Conference League anthem, and every single one of them was jumping up and down, keeping moving, because if you stand still, you're going to get chilled to the bone very quickly. It's -10 here at the Bolt Arena in Helsinki. Aberdeen's penultimate match in this Group G in the Europa Conference League, yet to win a game despite positive performances. They obviously can't qualify, but there's still plenty of incentive there. A first group stage win since 2007, a first away win in the main draw of European competition for 30 years. And for those in the boardroom, a small matter of €500,000 for a victory, as Helsinki now line up to our right to get their team photo taken. Aberdeen have spread out and ready for action. 7 changes to the team that drew with Rangers on Sunday. Only Roos, Rubezic, Jensen and Duncan survived from that draw. So it's Roos and in for a first start since September against Hibs, and Jensen make up the back three. Jack Milne a first start for Aberdeen on the right wing back position. Johnny Hayes on the other side. Barron, Polvara and Ryan Duncan in midfield, with Duke playing alongside Pape Habib Gueye, who makes his first start for Aberdeen as well. As for Helsinki, just the 2 games in 5 weeks for them since their domestic season ended, and they won the title for a 4th straight time. Unconvincing fashion though. They've lost their last 4 games, just 1 change from the defeat here against Frankfurt a fortnight ago. They lost 1-0, and that's Radulovic is back into the side, their top scorer with 24 goals in 40 appearances. So they've got Mainpää in goal, Halme, Tenho and Peltola the back three, Suiri on the right, Keskinen who's rapid on the left, Kanalopoulos and Lingman in midfield, and Hostika and Bande, the former Ajax player, either side of Radulovic. The teams are in position here at the Bolt Arena. Aberdeen have been lined up for some time, desperate to get going, to get moving in these freezing temperatures. The snow is swirling around the arena. There's a light dusting on the artificial surface. The Aberdeen fans, all 1,500 of them, huddled into our left. And Helsinki, it's not quite full. There's some empty seats in the stand opposite us. And now a sort of display that goes up on the right-hand side as the game gets underway. There are a few Helsinki players who are moving on at the end of the season, as is manager Toni Korkiakunas. He's not had his contract renewed, despite helping them recover and win the league title from July to October, but he's not staying on, and this is their last home game of the season, so a big display and a big send-off, they hope. And they hope to do that with a victory. Aberdeen hope to grab their first victory, and it's the host with the ball at the back, and it's Tenho comes forward, the captain for the evening, knocks it to Halme, and then he goes back to the goalkeeper. And we've played just 40 seconds, and Aberdeen just trying to get the press on. Aberdeen, Duncan going up against Tenho, and Helsinki with it in their own box trying to play out, and then eventually Aberdeen get pressure on and force things long, but then Milne takes a bit of a loose touch, and it goes back to Roos. Aberdeen, Gueye wins the header, and it drops for Polvara, gives it back to Gueye on the right hand side. He's up against Keskinen, he tries to go round him, Pape Habib Gueye, but Keskinen gets the better of him. That's Peltola actually who's won that challenge, gives it to Kanalopoulos. Helsinki again are trying to play out, but it's given away to Barron, but his touch is poor, and that allows Hostika to get onto it. He's over the halfway line, gives it to Keskinen, left hand side. He's met with resistance from Milne, goes back to Kanalopoulos, still on this left hand side for Helsinki. There, Aberdeen get back with men behind the ball into the feet of Radulovic. Rubezic comes across, he's playing to the right of the back three as it stands at the moment, which is interesting, and Aberdeen force Helsinki all the way back. Rory Loy, your thoughts?
Yeah, the first thing that stands out to me is probably Rubezic. He's playing on the right of the back three, Angus MacDonald in the middle. I would have expected Rubezic to be in the middle, and MacDonald, who I think is a better ball player, to be out on the right. Jack Milne's going to have to help him out. And here is Jack Milne on the right hand side. He gets the cross in. Duke's in there, gets a head on it, and it falls for Gueye. It's blocked inside the 6-yard box. Close range effort. What a chance for Pape Habib Gueye on his first Aberdeen start. Good block though from Miro Tenho. And Aberdeen still have it. Right hand side, Milne, who did brilliantly down the right hand side, the 20-year-old.
And it's back to McDonald in his own half. Right-footed pass along to Jensen, who has to scamper after it. Richard Jensen started his career in the youth setup here at HJK. Finnish international, of course. Teammates with many of those in the Helsinki colours this evening.
That was a gilt-edged chance for Papi Gay. What a dream start that would have been on his first start for Aberdeen. Under 3 minutes on the clock. Just tries with his left foot to bend it round the keeper. Doesn't quite catch it. I watched him in the warm-up. He put a few of those away. However, different in match time, and the chance goes begging.
Aberdeen come forward. Gay is under it again, and then Polvara picks up the seconds. Duncan's touch is slightly heavy, but it's away to Hayes on the left-hand side. He's going to put the cross into the box. Again, Gay's there, but it just goes over him. And it will run out all the way to the far side for a throw-in next to the corner frags. So it's 0-0, 3 minutes played between HJK and Aberdeen.
Good start from Aberdeen.
Yeah, it was perhaps a concern when you saw the 7 changes, how disjointed it may be, but they've stuck with the same shape, the 5 at the back, 3 in midfield, 2 up top, and it's looked solid so far. Helsinki throw-in. Radulovic doesn't control it on the chest, and Gay wins it back. He's right on the right-hand touchline, Papi Habib Gay, and he rolls it to Polvara, who's on the touchline a few yards further back, and then it's all the way back to Rubezic, who's stepped into the Helsinki half. Gives it to McDonald, who's another one who's adopted the short sleeves and no gloves approach. The Englishman not been seen since a brief substitute appearance at Ibrox in the 3-1 win. Here's Barron on halfway on the left-hand side, goes past his man and nudges it to Hayes, strokes it back to McDonald, and Aberdeen just looking to build from the back. 4 minutes played goalless, into Polvara around the corner to Gay, but it's won by Peltola, and then it's cleared up to Radulovic. And here's Kanalopoulos, the Greek midfielder. He's forced to turn back, gives it to Lucas Lingman, and he goes back to Tenho in the middle of the back 3 for Helsinki. The snow is starting to come down even heavier now.
Yeah, it is, and Keskinen was actually in there behind Milne. However, he didn't get the ball. The ball was turned back and recycled out the other side, but Keskinen will be a threat. He was one of the best players at Pataudry in the away leg for Helsinki.
Yeah, he's got a tattoo of Wayne Rooney fishing, apparently. Wayne Rooney was his favourite player as a kid, and here he is as the switch of play. Controls it nicely on the chest, tries to force it round Milne, who blocked it, but the flag has gone up against him for offside. And Polvara will take that quickly. Gives it to Barron in the centre circle. He's looking to get over the halfway line, Connor Barron. Gives it to Rubezic. Up to Barron. Aberdeen squeezed out to the right hand side, and Barron tries a little ball in behind, which Duke will chase. It's on the edge of the box, but the goalkeeper, Nicky Maimpa, if Helsinki collects, and he rolls it out. And here comes Lingman, the midfielder. He's not got too many options as Aberdeen get the press on. Polvara squeezing. And they go back to Tenho.
Pitch is so lively, Thomas. You know, the ball's getting wrapped in and it's skipping off the surface. It's pretty difficult.
And then Milne slides in and tries to cut out a ball, and it breaks now for Hostaka. It's into Radulovic on the edge of the box. He's turned, gives it back to Bande, chipped it over to the right hand side now, where Sowiri collects, and he's forced backwards, and he gives it into midfield. Here's Lingman, middle of the pitch, midway through the Aberdeen half. He's chipped one for Hostika, who's chasing it towards the byline, but Jensen gets the body in front of him and lets that go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that tonight. You know, at times you are going to have to unpick and unlock the opposition defence, but anything even remotely overhit will just be shepherded out of play by the defenders, and it won't take much to do so because the pitch is so skippy and lively.
Aberdeen go short from the goal kick. Here's Rubezic, then he goes long to Gay, loses out to Peltola, and it's Bande who's nicked it away from Rubezic, and he's down the left for Helsinki. He has to check back. Milne gets in there, and then the cross comes into Radulovic, takes it on the turn, blocked by Richard Jensen, and then it breaks for Johnny Hayes inside the box, and he's got time and space to take a few touches and clear downfield with a right foot, and it's out for a throw-in, but you can't give Radulovic that much time in the box.
No, you can't. He was claiming for a handball. I don't think it was, and there's people down in Helsinki's technical area wanting the same, so we'll wait and see what comes of this. However, Rubezic did look slightly isolated out on that right hand side. That is a bit of a concern for me. For me, he's better placed in the middle. Angus MacDonald on the right, as I said, because Bande, who once moved for €9.5 million, looked very sharp off the mark there.
Yeah, he did indeed. Free kick to Helsinki in the centre circle. Yeah, he went from Belgian top flight to Ajax, then broke his leg and never played. But he's a real threat, loads of pace. Helsinki do have pace in their team with Keskinen as well on this left-hand side. And here they come with Peltola, and he gives it to Keskinen on the left-hand touchline. Milne has come across, plays it down to Kanalopoulos, crosses it with the right foot. Jensen heads it down, and then Milne picks up and clears. Duke tussling, but loses out, and then it's headed on to Radulovic, who's on the right-hand side of the box. Back heel to Hostiga, takes a touch on the left foot, and then it's curled just wide of the post. It was comfortable enough in the end. Kelarus just watched it go by. Fairly harmless, but Helsinki with some neat play. 0-0, 8 minutes played.
Yeah, it was a beautiful touch by Radulovic, and Helsinki are really starting to come into the game now in the last few minutes. But lovely back heel. It came in, set it nicely for Hostiga, who was trying to wrap his left foot around it and get it in the bottom corner, down to Kelarus's right-hand side. However, it just went wide of the post.
A win would, of course, secure third spot in Group G for Aberdeen, which would be a decent achievement. When the draw was made, you would say that would be par for them, would be to finish third in this section. As it goes long, Helsinki, of course, if they win, it'll go to the last game. And here comes Bande running at the Aberdeen defence, and he's put it in behind for Keskinen. He's in the left-hand side of the box. 2 Aberdeen defenders there, tries the cross, but it ends up going straight to Kelarus, who claims it comfortably. And then the referee blows the whistle because there's an Aberdeen player down in the middle of the pitch.
Connor Barron,
it's Barron, yeah. He's holding his knee or his calf or something. No, it's Jensen. It's
yeah.
Richard Jensen. He's down injured, which is a bit of a concern. And you are taking a risk playing players on this pitch as well, Rory.
Well, you are, but once again, the move, I don't want to be too harsh on the right-hand side of Aberdeen's defence with Milne and Rubizic, but it comes down there again. I just think it's a big ask to have a player who's making his first start playing in front of Rubizic, I don't think that's natural to him to play there. I think he needs to be in the middle. Myself and Willie spoke about that before the game, and that's where the threat comes from again. But good to see Jensen back on his feet.
Yeah, he's back up. Aberdeen's Finland international, Kelarus, who is now one of the only players who've started every game for Aberdeen this season, with Shinnie and Devlin now on the bench. Here's Milne, it breaks for him on the right hand side, and he's almost at the corner flag. He doesn't have much room, gives it back to Polvara, who tried to force the pass in first time. It's blocked out for a throw in. Milne goes quickly, he's given it to Ryan Duncan, who's twisting and turning, but he's got 2 Helsinki players for company. He loses out, and then it's cleared long with the right foot up to Radulovic, who backs into Angus MacDonald, but it's a good tussle. MacDonald eventually wins the ball and stabs it back to Kelarus, who's outside his box, controls it with the right foot. The orange and blue ball for added visibility as the snow continues to swirl round the Bolt Arena, and it's hacked out for a throw-in on the halfway line to Aberdeen. 0-0, 10.5 played. Fairly even so far, Rory, you'd have to say. Yeah,
Aberdeen had the better of the opening exchanges. Helsinki have come into the game in a couple of chances apiece, one at either end, neither taken. Suggests maybe why these sides are unable to qualify. A little bit more clinical in the final third, and it might be a different story.
Yeah, Pauk Frankfurt against Pauk in Germany is an 8 o'clock kickoff UK time to decide potentially if Pauk win that, they'll top the section. Here come Helsinki with a left-footed long ball towards Keskinen. He controls that wonderfully right on the touchline, and he's brought it inside Milne, who's left for dead. He's getting back now, and it's into Band edge of the box, then onto Hostiga, around the corner to Keskinen, saved, brilliantly saved by the feet of Kelarus. What a move that was from Helsinki, but Aberdeen have their goalkeeper to thank for that one.
Yeah, it was a wonderful move down that same side again. Bandy linking up with Keskinen, and he really should be putting that away. And Helsinki really starting to grow into this game and slightly dominate now, but it's a wonderful way to pass from Radulovic, I think it was, to play him in, Keskinen, and he's just got to lift it. But credit to Kelarus, does really, really well to make the save.
Massive save from the Dutchman. It looked for all the world as though Keskinen was going to put Helsinki 1-0 in front, and they are growing in ascendancy in this game. Free kick over on the far sides. As I mentioned, a few farewells for them, including the manager. And there's a fairly full house, not quite, but the ultras behind the goal to our right making some noise, jumping up and down, although you probably have to keep warm in these conditions. Here's Keskinen on the left hand side, tries to go around Milne. This time the young defender wins the ball, and then he's played it up the touchline for Gay to chase. He's all over the back of Peltola, and Helsinki recover the ball, and it's back to Tenho, who tries the pass into the feet of Radulovic, but it wasn't a good one. It goes through to Kelarus. It's Helsinki 0, Aberdeen 0. Live commentary to come from Ibrox. Rangers against Aris Limassol. A win will take Philippe Clement's side through to the knockout stages. Here's Milne on the right-hand touchline midway through his own half. Gives it to Polvara, who tries the ball around the corner for Papi Habib Gay, who slips, and now here comes Peltola midway through the Aberdeen half for Helsinki. He gives it almost to Radulovic, who was in the box. He's got it back though, it's delivered back in. It's Hostika, then on to the strike, and it comes back. Cut across, Radulovic is in there. Here's Hostika with a strike, and it's deflected over the bar. Aberdeen living so dangerously there. It came in a number of times, and eventually the deflection takes it over the crossbar.
Yeah, Richard Jensen does really well to cut out the initial pass, but Papi Gay needs to be stronger. He needs to take the ball in. Radulovic is doing it superbly well for Helsinki at the other end and makes a big difference. Guy just needs to grow into the game. He's a little bit raw looking, but I'm sure he will get more of an opportunity. But once again, Kelarus to the rescue.
13 and a half minutes on the clock. Helsinki corner over on the far side. It's going to be swung in. There's a crowded 6-yard box. It's right on top of the goalkeeper. Russo gets 2 fists on it and just punches it back out for a corner. He couldn't do much else. There's a ruck of bodies in there. Helsinki packing the penalty area, desperate to round off their season at home with a victory. Got that trip to Pauk to come in their final game in a fortnight. Corner waiting to be taken. The snow still coming down here at the Bolt Arena. Aberdeen with some defending to do in their own box. They've been up against it in the last 5 minutes or so. Corner comes in, it's into the near post. Radulovic is there, gets a flick on it, falls for Jensen, who smacks it away down to the halfway line with a left foot. And Aberdeen will clear their penalty area and get themselves up the pitch. And as you say, Rory, the front two of Aberdeen just not been able to make it stick so far.
No, they haven't. And they did a couple of times in the first 5 minutes, and that's why they were on top in the game. Guy won a couple of headers and took it in, but they've fallen right out the game, the two of them, and they just got broken there. They tried to press, those two in Duncan, and Helsinki are really starting to dominate this game.
Here's Radulovic, gives it to Peltola, centre back, into the middle of the pitch, first time around the corner to Radulovic. He gives it with the right foot to Sowiri, the right wing back on the right hand corner of the box. Takes a couple of touches, Aberdeen get back. Gay is there, as is Johnny Hayes. It's back to Sowiri, who's going back towards his own goal. Nudges it to Apo Halme, the former Leeds and Barnsley centre back. And here's Peltola, fist into Bandy, who's touched it away from Rubizic. He's into the box on the left hand side. Bandy's there on the right foot, and he smashes it into the top corner. Helsinki are in front. Slobodan Rubizic sold himself. Bandy touched it round him, coasts into the box and dispatches it convincingly to make it Helsinki 1, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, and it's nothing less than Helsinki deserve, but that is Slobodan Rubizic all over. Going for a ball he cannot win, take 2 steps back, hold your position and defend the danger. And Bandy doesn't really have to do anything, to be honest, to get beyond Rubizic. Make no mistake, that finish is outstanding. Absolutely blasts it with the laces right into the top corner. Wonderful finish, and like I said, nothing less than Helsinki deserve. And I'm not surprised at all that it's come down that side.
Yeah, it's interesting. Johan Willie said it pre-match. It is interesting, the decision to go with Rubizic in that channel, and he does what he so often does. He goes to win it off the toes of the striker. He didn't manage it, and it left Aberdeen brutally exposed, and they were ruthlessly punished. And they trail here in Helsinki. Hassan Bandy, a former Ajax man, with a quality finish. And Aberdeen have it all to do. It goes to the halfway line from Helsinki. Rubizic gets a head on it, and then Gay again. He's skiting all over the place. Papi Habib Gay, it's really tricky conditions underfoot for everyone.
Yeah, and the thing with Rubizic is it looks really good when he does win the ball in those circumstances, because he wins it, he beats the striker to it, and he steps into midfield, plays a pass off, and everyone claps and it looks great. But the risk versus reward, it is not worth the risk to defend like that on a consistent basis, because you will get punished, especially at this level.
Well, because Aberdeen had a good shape about them there. They weren't too exposed, but as soon as you take the risk, Here's a free kick, middle of the pitch for Aberdeen. Hayes goes short to the right hand side. Duncan fires it in. It's not a great ball. It's easily cut out by Peltola. It falls for Hostika, and then it's nudged onto Kanalopoulos. The Greek midfielder nudges it to Suwiri, who's joined him. And now they come down the right hand side. It's played in front of Kanalopoulos, but Richard Jensen gets across and makes the challenge out for a throw in. It's Helsinki 1, Aberdeen 0. Nearly 18 minutes played in this Group G encounter. And Aberdeen, well, Barry Robson said it, they've put their best performances in Europe. Maybe haven't taken the points they deserve, but they don't want to finish bottom of the section at the end up.
No, they don't, and you can already see I wasn't particularly impressed with Helsinki at Pittodrie. Aberdeen should have beaten them, were the better team on the night, should have scored more goals, but you can see why they've got a better home record, because they've played some nice stuff.
Yeah, 12 wins out of 20 at home, 6 of the last 12 in Europe have been victories. Cross comes in, Radulovic with a header, it's come off the outside of the post, I think. No, it's Roos with a save, corner given. And again, Aberdeen leave Helsinki's danger man completely unmarked in the box, and he almost punishes them, but for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, they need to be careful here, Aberdeen. It actually takes, I think, the deflection off Angus MacDonald's face onto the post, otherwise it may have been on target. They need to be careful here, they really do, Aberdeen, because Helsinki could have easily scored 3 goals. Aberdeen might have had won them. But Helsinki really shown them how to move the ball and move the ball quickly.
Corner come in, it's played along the ground to Hostika in the box, takes the shot and it's come off the crossbar. Another warning sign for Aberdeen. It's a clever corner pulled just inside the box. He made the run, stepped on it, good right-footed strike, but it's come off the top of the crossbar.
I mean, it's clever to a degree, but you should not be able to play a pass from a corner inside the box, may I add, for Hostika to run onto and try and swerve it into the far corner, which he very nearly does. Aberdeen need to switch on here and get with it.
And Hassan Bande's 16th minute goal has Helsinki in front. They've almost played 20 minutes. Live on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It's long from Aberdeen, it's bouncing about, and Keskinen's using his body, and Milne gives away the foul, and then Gay also clatters into him and asks, what have I done there? But the free kick had already been given anyway against Milne.
Yeah, it was a little bit clumsy from Gay in the aftermath, needless as well. No need to go in at that pace, but Barry Robson just out in his technical area now. He just had a little pop at a few players, trying to get the message across that they need to liven up.
Well, Hibs away on Sunday for Aberdeen, huge game. It'll be the 7th of 8 away from home, and after that they've got a run of 6 out of 8 to the end of the year at home. A lot of them what you would describe as winnable games, so it's a really crucial period coming up for Aberdeen, including of course the League Cup final against Rangers, which comes 3 days after their last game in this group against Frankfurt. So you can see a similar team being put out in that final match as Ryan Duncan wins a free kick for Aberdeen inside the Helsinki half, just caught, and that gives Aberdeen some respite because they've been under the cosh. A goal down, one's come off the post from Helsinki, one's come off the bar. Aberdeen with 7 changes from Sunday's draw against Rangers, under the cosh after a bright opening 5 minutes, but it's a chance to get the ball in the Helsinki box. Connor Barron is looking to take this. He's asked to put it back a couple of yards by the referee. He's from Kosovo, and Barron puts the arm up, he's ready to take it, strikes it with the right foot, it's going towards the back end of the 6-yard box, it's just over Rubezic, and Helsinki clear. Now it's Bande, touches it away from Dante Polvara, but then Rubezic coming back, gets the tackle in, it falls for McDonald into the feet of Duke, who's been a spectator almost, and then that's a poor pass by Rubezic, bulleted at him from a few yards, and Duke can't control, and Helsinki win it back, go back to their goalkeeper, go long, Radulovic flicks it to Bande, just inside the Aberdeen half. Rubezic steps in and wins the ball this time. Hayes takes it first time as the ball hits the artificial surface, gives it away, and now here's Lucas Lingman, who played against Aberdeen a few years ago. Again, when he was playing for Rops Rovaniemi, set up a goal at Pittodrie. Aberdeen ultimately went through though in that qualifying tie, 2-1 in both legs. That's all the way through for Kellaroos. What do Aberdeen need to change here, Rory? Because they're struggling to keep hold of the ball, really.
Well, you know, I've said it before during this European campaign, a lot's made of Roos takes a wee bit of a chance.
Yeah, almost let it roll over the goal line, and he's eventually hurriedly scuffed it out for a throw-in on this near side, up towards, in line with his own penalty area. Helsinki throw it backwards to the feet of Peltola on halfway, and it's along to Miro Tenho, who's the captain for this evening, and he's played 131 times now for HJK, come through the academy. Played against Northern Ireland for Finland in a 4-0 win in the last international window. It's forward though for Gay, controls it on the left hand side of the box for Aberdeen. He's looking for support. Kanalopoulos is back in front of him, and Gay waltzing about. He's still held onto the ball really well, and now it's Polvara on the right hand corner of the box. He's going to pull the trigger, it's blocked, and it's bounced all the way back for Rubezic. Looks for a pass, right footed along the surface to Milne on the right hand side. Infield for Connor Barron, who's under pressure from Kanalopoulos. Goes back to Kelarus, who's midway through his own half. Right footed pass to Barron, looks up, rolls it with the studs, and then chips it to Angus MacDonald, who's 8 yards or so away from him. Richard Jensen and Aberdeen just trying to get their foot on the ball and keep possession for a bit, because they've not seen sight of it. And
that's exactly the answer to your question. You know, what they need to do is they turn over possession again, and Helsinki have it back. However, you know, one thing I do notice is Duke and Guy, although they're playing as a partnership, they're very wide, and Ryan Duncan has been asked to go and almost split the two centre-backs in terms of putting pressure on the ball. And the problem is, when Helsinki play through that, they've got 3 players out the game, which is leaving Barron and Polvara very exposed in the middle of the pitch, and that's where Helsinki are having their joy.
It also means when you get turnovers, which, you know, Barry talks about a lot, that they're so far away from each other, and that was again an example of them giving the ball away. And here's Hostika surging down the right-hand side across the halfway line. Barron is scampering after him, puts a tackle in, but it's passed away to Lingman, and then back to Hostika, who whips it with the right foot back to the centre half, Tenho, and Peltola, right foot along the surface to Keskinen. Milne steps in and puts pressure on. Aberdeen trailing HJK Helsinki by 1-0. Hassan Banday's 16th minute strike the difference. It's a step forward for Duke, but Duncan picks up the seconds after Duke couldn't win the first, and then he tripped as he ran towards the edge of the box. And I wouldn't be surprised if the yellow card comes out here. And the Kosovan referee, he blows the whistle. He's going to ask the player to come over. I think it's maybe Apo Halme. He's trying to hide in the back. And the referee, he's still asking. He's asking someone to come forward. That they're not. They're trying to hide it.
They're not forthcoming. It's certainly a booking. I would be surprised if he gets away with it. And it's also the free kick's been moved back about 5 yards from where it was actually the foul was committed.
I think it's Kanalopoulos.
Yeah, it's Kanalopoulos.
He just has a word with him. I'm surprised at that, because it was a cynical trip, and he's got away without a yellow card there.
He did it to Duncan earlier in the game as well.
And there's a hold up. Well, this free kick will be taken, and Aberdeen need something to spark them into life, and their fans packed in to the away end, away to our left as we sit in the main stands, very noisy up until the goal. But
I think Duke's going to strike it here, because he's lining up as if he's going to shoot, and I think what he'll want to try and do is just get it to bounce just before the goalkeeper, and then what the Aberdeen forward line need to do is run in, and somebody's got to tap in. That'll be the plan.
Yes, skid it in. Here he goes. Duke with the right foot. He strikes it, and it's a good few yards over the bar in the end. It did dip, but far too late. It remains HJK Helsinki 1, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, disappointing effort in the end. I think ideally you want that to, not easy to do necessarily, but anything on target in these conditions is going to cause the goalkeeper problems.
Scored a well-taken goal over in Greece, Duke, his third of the season. Fair to say he's not been at his brilliant best over the course of this campaign so far. Here's Gay, but again he just can't hold it in, and it's turned over. And here's Piri Sawiri, the wing back, clears it up the right hand touchline to Radulovic. Aberdeen win it back though into the feet of Gay. Again a tackle comes in, and then it's up towards Bandy, who can't take it under his spell. Falls for Rubezic, who passes it to Kelarus. But it's a big evening for Papi Habib Gay. He had that chance, it was blocked, and he's not looked wholly convincing in the rest of the game. Obviously signed from KV Kortrijk, 9 goals and 27 appearances for them last season. He had a good record at Alsund before that in Norway, 25 goals and 61 appearances. But yet to happen for him at Aberdeen, obviously playing behind mostly Duka Miofsky and then Sokler as well.
Yeah, and in fairness, it's difficult to judge him on 27 minutes when he's just in the team.
Absolutely.
But he's shown for the ball, even though he's lost it a couple of times, and he's putting himself about. So, credit to him for that. Hopefully his quality can grow as he gets into the game.
Radulovic gives it away to Johnny Hayes. Pass to Ryan Duncan along the surface. That's better from Aberdeen. It's out to Gay on the left hand side. He's played it in for Hayes to run onto. He tries to go round the defender, Johnny Hayes. He's blocked, and the referee has belatedly given the free kick. I think he didn't initially, but as Johnny Hayes tried to go round Apo Halme, and then the ball went behind, and it took a while to give it, but he's given the free kick in the end to Aberdeen. Yeah,
it looks sore. He got poleaxed. I've got a degree of sympathy for Halme, though. He can't just disappear off the face of the earth. It's one of those ones where Hayes knocks the ball by him and runs directly into him. It is a foul, but I think the referee's quite right to award the foul and nothing more.
Another chance for Aberdeen, but the deliveries into the box so far haven't yielded too much. Just that one chance which didn't come from a set piece for Pape Habib Gay, which was blocked, and the referee just making sure everything's okay in the penalty area in terms of tussling. And it's going to be Barron's delivery with the right foot. Rubicic is in there, but it's just in front of him, and it bounces into the arms of Nicky Maunpa, the Finland international goalkeeper, who is back in the sides. Sorry, Rory, on you go.
No, it's the right idea from Barron. He just maybe doesn't get enough pace on it, but bounced right in front of the goalkeeper.
Here's Hostika. He's going for the long ball out to the left of the box where Keskinen is waiting. He goes by Milne, who got a touch on it and then wins it. And then it's played up the pitch to Gay, who's touched again, evades him, and Peltola robs him. Kanalopoulos now on the left-hand side, in field to Bandy, the goal scorer. And he gives it back to Lingman, once linked with Aberdeen. Here's the captain, Tenho. He's going to step in, puts it into the feet of Keskinen, who's going to run at Milne. He's got pace to burn, but Milne does well first time, but then he goes round him the second time. He's into the box, left-hand side, cuts it back, but it's Richard Jensen, or Angus MacDonald, in fact, who was waiting there to clear it for Aberdeen. Fortunately for Aberdeen, because Keskinen had Milne on toast there.
Yeah, he did. Jack Milne did really, really well. The first question that was asked of him, but the second time round he struggled slightly more. Keskinen hit the byline, tried to cut it back, and MacDonald gets a good block in. But that all comes again from, Jack Milne does well in the first instance, plays it up to his striker Gay, who doesn't hold the ball in, and then it's a second wave of attack from Helsinki.
And Aberdeen have it at the back as MacDonald intercepts a ball that was intended for Radulovic. He takes it away from the Serbian striker and clears it. It's blocked off Keskinen. Yeah, I mentioned Helsinki lost their last 4 games. They didn't win the title all too convincingly in the end, but they did nonetheless. That's all that matters. They lost their last 2 games to their nearest rivals, including on the last day of the season. Needed to avoid a 5-goal defeat and lost 2-1, won the title on goal difference. And this is their last home game of the season. Here is Apo Halme, the centre half. Aberdeen have managed to gather their composure somewhat after the goal and peppering of their goal frame, one off the post and bar for Helsinki. But here come the hosts again. Bandy miscontrols. Happy Gay gets in, and then he's gone round Bandy and gets the foul, and that's much better, much better from the Senegalese striker.
Yeah, great first touch, knocks it round Bandy and wins the foul. Exactly what you're looking for from your striker. And Aberdeen have, got a little bit of a foothold in the game in the last 10 minutes. I just worry slightly at times that the front three of Duncan, Duke and Gay are slightly isolated. You're almost asking just the 3 of those to attack, and Polvara and Barron a little bit exposed.
Here's Polvara, wins it on the halfway line, and Keskinen's coming back. He's got such pace, but Polvara holds him off first time, and then a sliding tackle comes in and it breaks for Hostika. Then it's fired up to Radulovic. He's just over the halfway line. Johnny Hayes comes back to ensure that he can continue his run up the right wing. He comes infield, right-footed pass to Hostika in the middle of the pitch, back towards the centre circle, and then into Bandy, middle of the pitch. He's got 3 red jerseys around him, and then spreads it with the right foot out to the right-hand touchline where Suwiri has it. He's going to run at Johnny Hayes, and then thinks better of it, goes back, and Helsinki will recycle. This is their third straight season Helsinki in group stage football, so they are more experienced at this level than Aberdeen, and here they come, right hand side of the box. Hostika has it, trying to jink away from 1-2-3, he's done it, he's opened up space for the strike, and he's found the bottom corner. Oh, what a wonderful goal from Santeri Hostika. Oh, it's brilliant, dribbles away from 2-3 Aberdeen players, and he's well wide of the goal. Low right-footed strike across the goalkeeper into the far corner, and it's HJK Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, it's great footwork from Hostika. He's only got 6 goals in 58 appearances. He's not particularly prolific for Helsinki. Probably a little bit too easy from Aberdeen's point of view. Skips by Richard Jensen very easily and slots it into the bottom corner. Jensen caught square. He runs at him, jinks past him on the right-hand side of the box and drills a low right-footed shot right into the corner. It's difficult to argue against the scoreline at this point, I have to say.
Helsinki enjoying their home send-off, and they've got their eyes on a first Conference League group stage win of the season. Aberdeen looking at the players now, looking about for answers. It isn't Aberdeen's strongest 11, but nonetheless disappointing, defending on 2 occasions, and they're 2-0 down before the break, and it's another game without a clean sheet as well. Belarus has managed just 4 in 21 before this game. It's going to be 4 in 22 after it.
Well, ideally what you're wanting, Thomas, is you're wanting Milne at right wing back and Johnny Hayes at left wing back to make up a 4 in the midfield with Barron and Polvara. But what's happening is they're dropping into a 5, and we've, Aberdeen have effectively got 2 in midfield because Ryan Duncan is playing further up the pitch. They need an extra man in midfield because they're getting overrun.
But that's happened a lot in domestic games as well, Rory, this season, where they've struggled to get out, and you need to gamble, especially when you're 2 goals down now. Wing backs need to get further up the pitch, and here come Helsinki again. Here's Bandi, he's in his own half, forced back by Gay. Peltola up to Kanelopoulos, who is fouled by Connor Barron. The snow has eased slightly, but it's still coming down. You can still see the lines on the pitch just about. Helsinki cruising in this penultimate round of matches. Commentary to come from Ibrox after this one. In the Europa League, Rangers can qualify with a win against Aris. Again, there's a ball in behind, and Keskinen's got the run on Milne. No, he's done well to recover. Jack Milne turns away from him and then clears up to Duncan. Back to Rubizic, tries to find Gay, but it was fired at him. And Lingman, the midfielder, comes away with the ball. Here's Peltola, player who's come through the academy, expected to leave at the end of the season for a bigger club. Talented young player. There's a few departing Helsinki ranks, and they look at it, they're showing no signs of a team who've only played a couple of times in 5 weeks, but at the same time a few of them have played international football in the intervening period as well for Finland, but still they're fizzing it about nicely.
Yeah, I feel for Jack Milne a little bit because he's done well in a number of occasions in terms of stopping Keskinen, running at him and things like that. There's times where he's maybe struggled as well, but I think he's been left exposed and hung out to dry slightly at times with Guy being so far up the pitch and so high and wide, and Rubizic naturally wants to tuck in. He needs help at times. Yeah,
and he's, well, traditionally maybe Jack Milne more of a centre back, so not always, wouldn't be his most natural position, wing back either, so it's a big ask for the youngster, and he's up against one of Helsinki's most dangerous players. Here's Radulovic, turns away from Gay on the halfway line. Here's Peltola as Helsinki go in search of a third. As a ball that's chipped in behind that Lingman ran onto, or tried to run onto I should say, but it bounced in front of him and Belarus gathered. Aberdeen up to Ryan Duncan in the centre circle. He's tugged back by Radulovic, gets the free kick. Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 0, 36 and a half minutes played. The Dons staring down the barrel of another defeat. Plenty time left, but they've looked out of sorts. 7 changes made, and it has showed, other than the first 5-6 minutes where they put Helsinki under pressure, and then Rubizic dives in on Peltola. No card for the Montenegrin international.
I mean, that is as clear a yellow card as you're likely to see. How he gets away with that, I'm not quite sure. To be fair, Canelopoulos got away with one as well, so maybe he's just keeping it consistent, the referee.
He's tried to keep his cards in his pocket. Helsinki go short to Bandy, and then he's knocked it in behind for Keskinen, who's got it. He's on the left-hand side, he crosses it in. It's there for Hayes to clear with the outside of his boot. Bandy can't control it. Polvara's going to go in with a challenge at the breaks for Gay. Again, it's a heavy touch on the surface. He doesn't look like he's got to grips with it. The skid of the ball, Pape Habib Gay, because it's a couple of times he's...
No, he's struggled. He's struggled, and it's difficult because I don't want to keep coming back to the same players on the same point, but you've got a back five. The space between Milne and Rubezic, I mean, he could drive a bus through it, and the ball is played into that space. And Keskinen, who is very, very quick, is in on it and plays a dangerous cutback, which Johnny Hayes is alive to and clears.
Aberdeen 2 goals down. Jensen plays it with the left foot, looking for a run of Duke in behind, but it's easily cleared by Apo Halme. And Helsinki have been composed, measured, and I'm going to say they've been clinical, but they left a couple out there as well. Hit the bar on the post.
There it is again.
And here's Keskinen down the left once more. He's one-on-one with Rubezic. Comes into the corner of the box. Bandy's on the edge. Tackled by Barron and Polvara. Barron trying to come away with it, and then he's clattered into from behind by Bandy, and that'll be a free kick. And I think Connor Barron's asking why that's not a yellow card as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to drop Duncan. Instead of playing him in the number 10 behind the two strikers into midfield, give them an extra body, get your two strikers closer together, and get more bodies in the middle of the pitch and get your strikers linking up.
Barron in the centre circle is a common theme from Aberdeen throughout the season, that almost the better opposition they play against, more or less, take the 6-0 at Celtic Park aside, the better they seem to play, but when they're maybe expected to step on a bit, they seem to struggle, and that's been the case here. And here come Helsinki. It's dinked into the box for Radulovic, the chasers. Communication between Hayes and Keller-Roos, the goalkeeper, and Roos is able to gather comfortably, and he rolls it out to Jensen, up to Duke, who's in his own half and he's got no support. Gives it to Barron, who gives it to Hayes, then better into the feet of Duncan, gives it back to Hayes. Aberdeen still in their own half. Connor Barron though finds Gay, who's peeled out to the left wing. He's got a one-on-one here with Peltola, tries to go around the outside, then he comes back towards the corner of the box. He's looking for support. He's still got it. Gay's coming right in field. He's now in the middle of the pitch, about 30 yards out. It's on to Barron. Takes a couple of touches, rolls it to Rubezic, who's into the right-back position, gives it forward to the actual right wing-back, Milne. Back to Barron. Aberdeen stringing some passes together, but they've lost a bit of forward momentum here as Helsinki get the press on, and Barron through two players to Duncan, who gives it to Polvara. Then McDonald with a good pass out from the back to find Duncan. Then he spreads it with the left foot to the left wing, where Duke is one-on-one with Sweary. He's going to come in on the right foot, Duke, but doesn't have the space. Hostika closes down. Then Polvara on the edge of the box into the path of Duke, whose touch just evades him, and then the strike comes in. Oh, it's wonderful! What a strike from Angus MacDonald! Nearly 30 yards out. It took one bounce and he just smashes it. And Nicky Maimpa is absolutely stranded, no chance into the top corner. That came out of absolutely nowhere. Take a bow, Angus MacDonald. Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 1.
What a strike that is. Half volley, difficult surface, clean with the laces. I mean, it is postage stamp stuff, that, right into the top bin. I know we're on the radio, make sure you see this when you get in your houses, because my goodness, what a strike that is, and what a difference as well, because Papagaï for the first time in the game holds the ball up, does exceptionally well, muscles out a few defenders, they roll the ball over, then they've got good comfortable possession in the middle of the pitch. You know, it gets them up the pitch. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't necessarily lead to that goal because it's a fantastic strike, but my goodness, what a goal.
And the first yellow card comes out, I think, for Dante Polvara for a late tackle. My, well, Angus MacDonald not started a game since September, barely featured since, just the 1 minute at Ibrox, and then he stepped onto that, absolutely smashed it into the top corner. Brilliant goal, and it's got Aberdeen right back in this game before the break.
It has indeed, and any snow that was nestling on the net of Helsinki is well and truly gone, because that was a thunderbolt.
And the Aberdeen fans have found their voice, and probably a bit of warmth as well after that. Been fairly grim viewing, and it goes long. and it's behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. I think it's actually McDonald who's gone in the book rather than Polvara. There was a clutch of players around the referee. It was difficult to see, but it's flashed up on the screen that Angus McDonald is the player having just scored the goal for Aberdeen.
Adrenaline.
Who's gone in the book for a late tackle. And well, Aberdeen will be feeling a lot better about themselves as Gay wins a header. Doesn't fall for Duncan though. Suiri in his own half gives it to Hostika, who scored Helsinki's second. That was a brilliant goal as well. And he's given it straight to Duke, who's going to run at the Helsinki defence. He's got a lot of defenders for company, and then he just runs out of room and falls down. He's asking for a free kick, but I don't think that was a free kick. And then Rubezic again tries to win the ball first time, and he's just clattered Hassan Bande, and he's apologised to the referee, but he's so aggressive, Rubezic. When it works, it's great, but dearie me.
I mean, yeah, I despair at times because, you know, he's got very good defensive qualities, but, you know, I don't know why he thinks that tactic and that way of doing things is going to work when he's tried consistently and failed.
Aberdeen with their tails up a bit here. They've won the ball back. Duke on the left touchline on halfway, but he's almost given it away, and then he actually gets the free kick as Kanalopoulos has bundled him over just on the halfway line. Aberdeen trailing by 2-1 now, having been 2 goals down as we approach the half-time whistle. Minute and 45 plus whatever's added to go in this first half in Helsinki. Here's Gay, and again he just can't get the control quite right. It is difficult conditions. The pitch is it's covered in snow. It's challenging for the players, but he's not quite got to grips with the surface. The Senegalese striker, Helsinki, well, they'll be giving them something to think about because they were in total control, 2-0 up, and just out of nowhere McDonald gets Aberdeen back in it.
That is the lifeline of all lifelines that Aberdeen needed. Your centre back stepping up and pinging one right in the top corner. Very, very good finish, I have to say. I don't think he'll ever score a better goal.
Yeah, magnificent moment for Angus McDonald, and will it prove pivotal in this game? Can Aberdeen get another? They've got a strong bench given the fact they've rotated heavily for this game. I've mentioned the fixtures to come, 9 games before the end of the year, 10 before the winter break for Aberdeen. It's jam-packed, hence the heavy rotation here in Helsinki by Barry Robson. Helsinki with the ball just on the halfway line. Apo Halme gives it to Lingman on the right, infield, and here is Lingman trying to get away from Ryan Duncan, but he doesn't manage it. Aberdeen pressing well now, just have a bit of urgency back. They looked a bit deflated at 2-0 down, but trying to get in the faces. So Helsinki stay composed though. It's back with the defender Halme, gives it to Lingman, then it's up to Bande. Again, Rubezic is right on him, and this time he wins the ball and it falls for Gay. Now Aberdeen on the front foot. Polvara tries to fizz it into Duke, but it's skited off the surface away, and Duke's just going to keep it in next to the corner flag on the left-hand side. He's got a man to beat. He ends up giving it to Hayes, who's going to cross it into the box. It's over Gay, and then it's almost put into his own net by the defender. It's Keskinen, I think, who's back trying to help out. And maybe I'm being unkind. Maybe he meant to just nudge it back to the goalkeeper, but on the surface it skidded into Mindpart, who controlled it easily enough. We've hit 45 minutes.
You can't see the lines now in the top right hand corner as we look just over there where the play hasn't really taken place up in that corner. It's very difficult to differentiate the snow between the snow and the lines.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll clear it at half time, if they'll get on some shovel or whatever people to clear it, because you can still see the lines, but it's getting increasingly difficult at certain moments of the pitch. And here's Gay, wins it middle of the Helsinki half, gives it to Duke. He's on the edge of the area. Can he work space for the shot? He can, but it's fairly tame, and the goalkeeper swallows it up. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, Aberdeen were 2-0 down and looking beaten, but they've managed to battle back to within 1 thanks to a magnificent strike a few minutes before the break from Angus McDonald. Half volley, right foot, smashed it from distance into the top corner, because before that it was all Helsinki really, and they got themselves 2-0 in front. Hassan Bande played in behind, brilliant right-footed finish into the far corner beyond Kelarus, and then Santeri Hostika dribbled away from 2 or 3 Aberdeen players before firing it across Roos into the corner. Hostika Also hit the bar. Bojan Radulovic hit the post as well via deflection from McDonald. So Helsinki will be slightly disappointed that their lead is just one at the break. But Aberdeen, courtesy of that brilliant McDonald strike, are well in this game. At half-time in Helsinki, it is HJK 2, Aberdeen 1.
Aberdeen in the Europa Conference League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
So Aberdeen right back in it after being in the back foot for long spells there in Finland. The trail 2-1 at the break. It sounded an absolute cracker from Angus MacDonald on 41 minutes after Bandy on 16 and Hostika on 33 had HJK Helsinki 2-0 up at Aberdeen. Right back in this one. Willie Miller is in our studio this evening. We're at Ibrox here. Myself and Stephen Thompson will get Stephen's thoughts in a couple of minutes' time, looking ahead to Rangers game here against Aris Limassol. The Limassol players out on the pitch here at Ibrox. But in terms of that game in Finland, Willie Miller, Aberdeen taking a real battering there, but some hope, just somehow, some hope just before half-time.
Yeah, well, I don't know how they've managed to stay in the game, to be perfectly honest, Kenny. Because apart from the goal, there's been at least another 7 opportunities for HJK. So you know, 2-0 down, they look out. They've had periods in the game where they've done reasonably well, little spells, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 5 minutes as well, where they've actually controlled the ball and built it up quite well. But the game should be. It should be out of their reach. Helsinki have had so many opportunities, hit the crossbar, hit the post, good saves by Kel Roos, 2 goals as well, and then Angus MacDonald. What a strike.
Describe it, Will. I've not seen it. Describe it.
Well, it just comes out to him. It's one of these ones where you don't really think about it. I don't think as a central defender, it just bounces, it comes up on the volley, hits it 30 yards out with the right foot. It just flies right into the right-hand top corner. Goalkeeper, no chance whatsoever. Totally out the blue. Aberdeen have barely made a chance. An early opportunity they had from the striker Gay. Other than that, it was Angus MacDonald's strike just before half-time that got them back into the game. So they should be well out of it. They're not. It's a game where all the possession, all the chances have fallen to the home side. The conditions are appalling.
Yeah.
The surface is covered in snow. Really difficult to control the ball. But it's been a home side that's played all the football. They've created the opportunities. They haven't taken enough of them. You would have thought that 2 might be enough. But with that Angus MacDonald strike, it gives Aberdeen a little bit of hope for the second half. It is a second string, Kenny, that Aberdeen are playing. So I don't think we should be that surprised that they've been dominated largely. I don't know if Barry will look to the bench to bring on players in the second half, because it's a dead rubber that, this game doesn't matter. He'll be delighted that it isn't rather embarrassing and it's not 4 or 5 out there in the first half. It's 2-1, still in a game, plenty to play for in the second half. That's the good news, but the performance has not been good.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Willie, we spoke about this before the game, the balance that the manager has to strike with some really important domestic games coming up, starting off with Easter Road at the weekend. So 7 changes for Aberdeen today. Now, it may not transpire, but as you say, for long periods that first half, it looked as if there could be an end of a real hiding. Is that something that will affect the confidence if the players are on the receiving end of that, or can they look at that as players that we've made a lot of changes, it's a dead rubber, full focus now in the weekend? I
think so, Ken. I think it's a fact that he's left out 7 key players, so it's not going to affect their confidence. It might affect the confidence of the players that have been given the opportunity to go in and try to impress the manager, because they haven't done that. And Rubizic can't play right centre back. I mean, I said that before the game. I've watched him, on too many occasions. He's rash. He dives into challenges. He gives away free kicks constantly. He doesn't think about the game. If he gets isolated in a wide area, then he doesn't know how to react. His position is poor. He doesn't cover from young Jack Milne at all. Anything played over the top, he's always out of possession. Do I need to go on, Kenny? Do I need to go on? Play him centre of a 3. He can deal with it there, and if the two players either side can calm him down a little bit, he'll do a job for Aberdeen. But see, when you play him, you know, wide in the right or wide in the left, he just hasn't got the football intelligence to play that position. He's constantly been caught. He's constantly dived in. You know, the first goal he dives in, he doesn't have to do it. There's no danger. But it's not only does he dive in, he takes himself out the game, you know, and he allows Bandy to get in behind him. And, you know, any defender knows.
He's killing young Jack Milne as well,
I
think,
know.
Willie.
Well, he isn't helping him at all, is he? Really? You know, Jack Milne, it's not his position either, so it's a strange position for him to play. Listen to you as well, Rory, the gap between Jack Milne and Rubezic is, you could drive the bus down. I think that was your quote. You could. And you know, HJK have got some intelligent players, and they see that and they just play on it. And any time it's down there, you know, young Jack has got to try to cope with that and recover. But Rubezic should be helping him. He should be coming over a little bit. He should be blocking the space and not allowing that space to actually be a ploy for Helsinki. But you know, I'm just saying he can't do that. You know, for what I've seen of him so far, since he's been at Aberdeen, he's straightforward, he's not a thinker, he'll dive in, he'll go into challenges, and by pure luck, if the challenge actually comes off for him, then it looks good. But for me, it's not good defending.
So 2-1 to HJK Helsinki over Aberdeen. The other game in Group G of the Europa Conference League, Eintracht Frankfurt against PAOK. That one kicks off at 8 o'clock. We are here at Ibrox this evening. The Europa League gets back underway for Rangers at 8 o'clock this evening at home to Aris Limassol. The 5:45 game in the group, that's reached half-time. Sparta Prague 0, Real Betis 0. Stephen Thompson is alongside me. Your thoughts ahead of this one, Stephen? Rangers strong favourites tonight?
Yeah, I think they are. Obviously, Limassol have already beaten Rangers, but that was probably Rangers' worst performance of the season, and it was a period when they were at their lowest ebb. Since then, I think Rangers are improved under Philippe Clement. Obviously, the weekend result wasn't ideal in terms of not winning it, but they're still unbeaten in a long period of time now. They have confidence, and they have confidence in this particular competition, especially here at Ibrox, where they're 5 games unbeaten here at Ibrox. So they've been very, very impressive. I think obviously the crowd will help. It's a very, very cold evening. Doesn't look as cold as it does over in Helsinki right now, which is giving me a wee bit of comfort. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a couple of positions throughout the team tonight that are going to need to be addressed, most notably at centre half.
Yeah, I saw the pictures coming as the Rangers players arrived here tonight. John Souttar coming off the team bus. You would expect him perhaps to get the nod tonight?
Yeah, I would. I think I'd be surprised if it wasn't Souttar and Ben Davies. And you know, they've both got experience. They're both good players. I don't see that being an issue. Obviously, the new manager would have loved to have had Connor Goldson, and he seems to really like Leon Balogun as well, but both players not available. So you know, I think it's a luxury that Rangers have, that they're able to call on players of the quality of Ben Davies and John Souttar to come in. Otherwise it might have been an even bigger head scratcher for them. Looking throughout the rest of the team, for me a key player since he's returned to the side has been Tom Lawrence, playing in that kind of number 10 position. I think he sees things on the pitch that not a lot of the other Rangers players can see. I think his final ball, his final pass is generally very, very good. I expect him to be a key player this evening. Other players probably, I think Sima in European nights has done well. I think he's better when he's got the game in front of him. When a team are camped in like Aberdeen were at the weekend, and it's congested and he doesn't get the opportunity to run in behind and open his legs up, I don't think he looks as good a player. But generally in European football that isn't the case. It might be tonight with Limassol maybe defending a bit more, but when he's got the game in front of him and he can open up his legs, it's a key weapon to have in European competition, because quite often you've got to use it as a counter-attacking tactic. So he'll be a big player. I'd expect the other kind of call would be whether or not Todd Cantwell for me plays. I would like to see young McCausland given the nod on the right hand side. I think he offers a more natural balance to the side in terms of being a winger. He's impressed in the games that I've seen him certainly coming on. He'll be full of confidence, obviously a full cap and signing a new contract. So this for me, it would be a perfect opportunity to put him in and go and show what he can do. But it's a huge game for Rangers. Obviously, if they win the game tonight, then there's football after January for Rangers, which is massive. It's absolutely huge. So a lot is resting on the game tonight, and obviously they want to get revenge on Limassol for what happened over in Cyprus.
Well, you saw Rangers in the flesh on Sunday at Pittodrie. What did you make of the Rangers team? Did you see big changes to you of course were here at Ibrox for that humbling they got at the hands of Aberdeen a couple of months ago? Did they look much improved under Philippe Clement on Sunday?
Well, on the evidence of Sunday, it's not a big loss at Ballaghan and Golson aren't available, to be perfectly honest, after the first half display. I thought they were dreadful. I thought, I do admire both of them as players, but the game at Pittodrie, the opportunities they afforded Aberdeen in the first half was quite incredible for players of their quality. I think Rangers were the better side against Aberdeen, there's no doubt about that, and they had all of the second half and they had chances, maybe not glaring chances, but chances that they should have been good enough to finish, and at the end of the day it was a bit of a kind of a frustrating second half for them. Although they had these chances both first half and second half, they didn't look as though they were going to open Aberdeen up. I think Stephen says they kind of struggle a little bit when teams sit in, and they don't have the space in behind. And Aberdeen did that in the second half. They just sat back. They didn't allow Rangers too much room, and it was a real struggle for them to find the quality to be able to conjure up, the quality in and around the Aberdeen box. They really, posed the Dons problems, because I thought Aberdeen, defended quite comfortably in the second half. It was mostly crosses from wide areas and headed opportunities that were missed by Rangers rather than opening Aberdeen up. So I think if Limassol does sit in there, then I think that will be an issue for them, is to find the quality in and around the box to actually open them up and create opportunities.
Yeah, big game here in the Europa League at Ibrox this evening. Rangers against Aris Limassol. Kick-off is 8 o'clock, and of course back to the domestic action at the weekend on Sportsound. We kick off on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and we will be with you right through until 7.
This is Sportsound.
For me, champions find a way, and Celtic tend to do that more often than not.
Good evening to you, Kevin. How are you feeling?
I am feeling sick.
It has been a hard time being a Hibs fan recently. We had the excitement in European competition, and we ended up going out in Birmingham.
Chick Young told us at the start of the programme
there would be goals in this game.
Chick Young, Queen's Park against Morton.
We're still playing.
Behind the wall. What do you make of that tactic now? Some teams are adopting that.
Yeah, I think it's okay as long as it's no wet.
The revelation was that Tom English actually once turned out for Airdrie.
I was a player.
What do you make of that, Emma?
Emma. That was just about the time I started supporting Airdrie.
Well, Kenny, we've got an equaliser. Oh, the St Mirren bench are jumping up and down. Stephen Robinson out of his technical area.
A 96th minute equaliser. Must be an amazing celebrations.
I missed it, Kenny. I'd left early with the V-man.
You couldn't like Scottish football.
Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, another busy weekend of action ahead on BBC Radio Scotland. European action for you this evening. We are at Ibrox, an 8 o'clock start here in the Europa League. Rangers against Aris Limassol. Sparta Prague have reached half-time their game at home to Real Betis. It's 0-0 there. So just to tell you that Rangers will be guaranteed European football if they get a win here tonight. That after Christmas they'll be guaranteed European football. Let's then get back out to Finland. The second half of HJK Helsinki against Aberdeen with Thomas Duncan and Rory Loy.
Thanks, Kenny. We're underway. Just a few seconds in. Aberdeen have made 2 changes at the break. Ryan Duncan and Papi Habib Gay have gone off. Jamie McGrath and Esther Sockler are on. So Barry Robson immediately going to the bench to try and change things. And after Angus MacDonald's sensational goal, his team are right in this game when perhaps they didn't deserve to be in that first half, but they will look to make amends here in this second period. Helsinki, same 11 that started the game. As it goes up to Radulovic, McDonald wins the header. Polvara goes in for seconds, wins it. That's a strong challenge with the head from Polvara. McGrath just too far in front of him, but then it's miscontrolled by the Helsinki player, and Hayes is on to it, and he tries to slip in Sockler, but it's straight to the centre half. Tenho, who then fires it up to Radulovic on the halfway line. Off to Bande, who opened the scoring for Helsinki in that first half. Out to the left-hand side in Keskin, and he comes in, but again Polvara puts a good tackle in, breaks for Kanalopoulos, back to Bande. Again Polvara gets a foot in and robs the winger, and he's striding up to the halfway line, and then he slips, but he was pulled and wins a free kick just about on halfway. Helsinki 2-1 in front, but Aberdeen looking alert at the start of this second half, Rory.
Yeah, I feel a little bit for Papagai because, you know, I know his quality wasn't particularly great at times, but he put himself around, he showed for the ball, he wanted the ball continuously, he played a part in the equaliser, not the equaliser, the goal which got Aberdeen back to 2-1. Now I understand it's a moment of sheer quality from McDonald, but he still did his job in it. Duke's been totally anonymous, so, you know, Duke's a bit lucky to be on the pitch still, I think.
Here's Barron down the left hand side, runs out of room, and Helsinki come away with it through Lingman, but Hayes wins it back. Duke has it, he's got 3 Helsinki players round him, but he's done really well to keep it in initially, and then it's still kept in. I thought that rolled behind, but he's kept it in field, and Jensen goes down the touchline. It's given from Hayes to Barron. Aberdeen just over the halfway line now. Right footed pass over to Rubezic, who's got a bit of space to run into, which he does. Nudges it on to Milne on the right wing. Goes with a cross, but it's straight to the goalkeeper, who could have caught that, but he's punched it. And then it's an unconvincing clearance, but Lingman's there to get the head on it. Polvara controls with the chest, but he's given it away frustratingly from an Aberdeen point of view. And then it's Lashford, and Jensen's not got the most convincing header on this, and Radulovic will collect it on the right hand side of the penalty area. He's waiting for a teammate to get up to him, so Weary is there. He rolls it back to him, and then it's back to the centre halves. Incidentally, there was 3 mini tractors on the pitch at half time clearing the snow. It's still got plenty of snow on it, but it's much better than it was, Rory.
Yes, and I can confirm that the bottle of water I had is now completely frozen.
I wish there was something that could clear my notes in front of me covered in snow. Here come Aberdeen, and here's Sockler, edge of the box. Polvara, left hand corner of the area. He's jinxed, tries to cross, blocked by Apo Halme, behind for an Aberdeen corner in front of their own fans. Much better from the Dons at the start of this second half.
Yes, indeed, and they have a corner right in front, as you say, Thomas, of the away fans, which will hopefully inspire them onto better things in this second half, as we see a few snowballs getting thrown onto the pitch.
I have to say, I'm staggered it's taken this long for the snowballs to start. 48 minutes, and it's a corner to Aberdeen. Conor Barron's going to take this. He goes back towards the mounds of snow, and the snowballs are being rained in on the penalty area. And here's Barron's corner right on top of the goalkeeper. Defender gets a header on it, and then Bandy controls it really nicely on the edge of the box, and he's going to try and scamper up the park. Jensen's in front of him, but he's still going Bandy, waiting for support. He's jinked inside one, and his pass isn't great, and it goes straight to Milne, who's given it away. And now here's Keskinen, goes past Hayes. He's on the left-hand edge of the area, and then he's still going. Keskinen gets to the byline, tries to squeeze the cross in, but Milne has recovered with a sliding tackle behind for a Helsinki corner this time. 2-1 to the Finns.
Yeah, you can see why Bandy's moved for big money in the past. That injury's obviously set him back. He was out for a year. It looks really lively. It wasn't a particularly great pass at the end. He kicked it off his other foot, something Bojan Miovski's pretty familiar with.
Indeed. Miracle penalty. They got Aberdeen a miracle point in Paisley. And now Aberdeen, having looked lively up the other end, have some more defending to do. It's HJK leading by 2-1. Corner comes in. It's again fired into the near post. Hayes with the header back out. It's going to come back in. The cross isn't great, but it smashes off McGrath and goes behind for another corner kick. Aberdeen determined to try and haul themselves at least back level and try and ensure they don't finish bottom of this section. For all the positives there have been in this Conference League campaign, that would be a bit of a blow, albeit with 7 changes from the start tonight. And here's Peltola as Helsinki go short from the corner. Suiri, middle of the pitch, back to Peltola, over to the other side in Keskinen, or Hostika, I beg your pardon, gives it to Keskinen on the left hand side. Hostika gets it back, crosses it with a right foot, and it's going to sail all the way behind, courtesy of a bounce. Skips out for an Aberdeen goal kick. And I wonder, Jamie McGrath and Sockler on the pitch. Sockler impressed against Rangers on his first Aberdeen start. Jamie McGrath's been an outstanding performer, and here's Duke surging all the way from his own half over into Helsinki territory. Big sliding challenge though from Kanalopoulos. McGrath picks up the scraps, tries to go round Lingman, and he's bundled to the deck and wins the free kick. And just as I was talking him up, Jamie McGrath does well to win the foul.
Yeah, he does. Duke, good positivity in the first place, and it's good old-fashioned sliding tackle on this surface. And Lingman is quite heavy with the challenge.
And I have to say, I'm finding it quite confusing because there's a line of snow, then there's the actual touchline, and there's another line of snow down in front of us. It's hard to tell from our angle which one's the touchline.
Yes, indeed.
So the snow continuing to come down, and here's Hayes, fires it into the near post. It's not a great one, and it's cleared by Radulovic. Back to Jack Milne. Barron is going to deliver into the box with the right foot, and the Sockler was in so much space, but the pass was just overhit, and then a snowball flies towards the goalkeeper as he goes to collect the ball. He's now trying to catch them, and the stadium announcer is telling the Aberdeen fans, please can you stop throwing snowballs.
Yes, very different to the VAR announcements we're used to. Can you please stop throwing snowballs? And then
did you get a UEFA fine for that one? I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure, but
and the game is being stopped, so once or twice is probably funny and harmless, but they're still going, and the game has actually been halted, and it's not going to continue until they stop. So
yeah, I think referee's coming over here.
Yes, is he going across to speak to Tony Korkiakunas, is it, the Helsinki manager? I'm not sure. I wonder if there's a card in his hand, or is a UEFA delegate he's speaking to, someone with a pass round their neck actually. Not sure who he's having a word with, but the snowballs keep coming in from the Aberdeen fans. Well, as I say, the jokes may be funny the first time, but now with the game halted,
Johnny Hayes is now going over to the fans and telling them to stop it, because it's pretty consistent now. And as you say, Thomas, it's funny the first time. Going back to the actual football itself, Sockler was in lots of space and Barron didn't need to lift it. He was inside the box, Sockler, and if it's on the deck, he can take a touch and shoot.
Well, the game gets back underway with a goal kick from Impa. Obviously frustrating delay, and the players will be getting cold as well, to bear in mind it's not a sort of temperature, -10 at least, that you want to be stopping and having unnecessary delays in. Aberdeen, of course, been fined a couple of times for flares by UEFA. Helsinki also given a fine and a suspended sentence of a partial closure of the ground away to our right if they offend any more in the next 2 years. There's been no flares here this evening, as a crunching challenge comes in on Bande, and the free kick's given. It's Polvara who is involved, and the referee has given a free kick, or he's not actually, it's just gone out for the throw-in, but there was a little delay while Bande got himself to his feet.
Yeah, normally you're not allowed to tackle from behind, but actually Polvara, from what I could see, manages to wrap his foot round and get the ball round the side of Bande, so I think the referee was right to play on and not award the foul.
Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 1, 54.5 minutes played. Barron tries to rob Bande, breaks for Aberdeen, tussling with it, back to Rubizic in a tight space, gives it to Barron, who then spreads it to Hayes, is in the middle of the pitch, slightly under hit pass to Jensen, who then kind of rushed as he put the left foot through it, but then Sokler's robbed the defender. He's in the box. It's Esther Sokler, cuts it back for Duke. Here's a chance for Duke, but his touch was heavy and the defender came back in with a perfectly timed sliding challenge behind for a corner. Chance gone for Aberdeen.
Yes, indeed, and it's fantastic anticipation from Esther Sokler. I've got one criticism of him would be go and get the ball and shoot. You're a striker, you want to score a goal. Don't leave it for Duke to go and try and do it. You've done the hard bit, take it on and shoot and get yourself a goal.
Conor Barron's going to take this corner, comes in with the right foot, and it's got right across goal into the back post, and it's nodded in by Duke. Duke peels away and celebrates. Aberdeen are level. The snowballs rain in again, and Aberdeen have hit back. Duke at the back post turns it in. It's Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, if you told me after 40 minutes it would be 2 each after 55, I'd never have believed you. Credit to Duke. I did question the fact he was still on the pitch, but Barry Robson, good decision you would have to say in the end, because he scored a goal which brings them back on level terms.
Let's get the thoughts of Willie Miller as Aberdeen have come back from nowhere, really, Willie.
Yeah, they've shown fantastic resilience, but you know, Sokler did amazingly well there. Bad defending, poor defending. They dwelled on the ball, the two centre backs. Sokler came in to set up the initial chance for Duke, and from the resulting corner, Duke drifts in at the back post and gets that equaliser. Fantastic stuff from the Dons. And as Rory says, you couldn't have imagined that on the first half performance basis.
Thanks, Willie. I'll get more thoughts from Willie throughout the game. What a revival it's been for Aberdeen. Dookie's been quiet, but he was in the right place at the right time. It's 2-2 in the Conference League for him now. Scored over in Greece and Thessaloniki in the last game. And Aberdeen back on course to try and finish third in this section. A win would seal it.
It's a really good header at the front post from Richard Jensen as well. He helps it across and Duke's exactly where you would want him to be and scores the goal. In terms of Esther Sokler, bumped into Peter Leven today when I was in the local shopping centre, and he was saying there's so much more to come from Esther Sokler. His movement is second to none, so he's very highly rated at Aberdeen, and you can see why based on that.
Johnny Hayes goes down as he was defending near his own corner flag and gets a free kick, much to the ire of the fans, the home fans here. And Aberdeen suddenly with good energy, momentum in this game, and they've got more quality to bring off the bench if they want it in terms of Miofsky. And Esther Sokler already making a big impact, and he's had to be really patient. He's had a lot of substitute appearances but had to wait till Sunday for his first start. Got 10 goals in 31 for Radomilje in Slovenia last season. Another find from Central and Eastern Europe for Aberdeen. And Barry Robson will certainly hope there's more to come. And Helsinki now looking slightly less composed as the goalkeeper Maunpa puts the foot through it. Ruvacic wins the header. Polvara controls, back to Barron, gives it into the feet of McGrath, then onto the path of Polvara, where it's Milne on the far side, and he's away from his man and he's crossing it into the near post. It's fallen to Sokler at the back post. He's on the byline, gets the shot in, and the goalkeeper has to touch it behind at the near post. Sokler did so well there from a really tight angle to get that on target.
Yeah, he did, and you know, we spoke about Aberdeen being a Jekyll and Hyde team. You know, it's within games at times. They were the same in Hacken. You know, awful first half, and then they were unplayable in the second half. And there's shades of that here. Hopefully they can keep that up and grab a winner.
Another corner is scored from the last one, Aberdeen. It's Conor Barron again with a right foot, and it's into the same area. This time Helsinki get a head on it, and another from Lingman at the edge of the box. Hostika loses out to Hayes. Here's McGrath, gives it to Duke on the right hand corner of the box. He's going to try and take on his man, who's Keskinen. He's got two in front of him now. Lingman comes across and then he takes a poor touch, and Helsinki can clear all the way down to Kelarus. The snow continues to fall here in Helsinki. Aberdeen battling back from 2 down, courtesy of goals. Screamer from McDonald before the break, and then one from a corner. Duke levelling things up after Bandy and Hostika had put a dominant Helsinki side in front. 2 in front in the first half, and Kelarus has shelled that straight out the park. He almost has one of those a game where he just loses his bearings. Not sure what he was trying there. Straight out the park. Helsinki take the throw in quickly. Lingman tries the pass round the corner, intercepted by Milne, and Duke goes in. Aberdeen throw in. And suddenly the passes that were finding feet for Helsinki are no longer doing so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much more cohesive structure now they have, because Hayes on one side and Milne the other are playing as a four in midfield now. They're joining up with Barron and Polvara, who are actively going forward.
Here's McGrath on the right hand side. He's put it in towards Sockler in the box again, but this time Apo Halme gets across and stabs it out for a corner on the far side. The Aberdeen fans warming up. They've got more to shout about now from their team. Barron's going to go across to the other side this time to take the corner. And the last two, one led to a goal and the other threatening as well. Much better delivery in the second half from Aberdeen. Conor Barron in particular. Hayes is going across to offer the short option, or he's maybe going to, he's lingering about, considering the left foot. Hayes is actually going to take it. Here he comes with the left foot into the 6-yard box again. Again, it's a Helsinki head that's on it, and it breaks for the home side in the box, and now they're going to look to spring the counter. It's played out towards the left touchline and Hostika, but it's skipped off the icy surface and out for a throw-in on the halfway line to Aberdeen, who are now looking to play at tempo, Rory.
Yes, they are, and as I said, Milne and Hayes getting further up the pitch, which then in turn Barron and Polvara pushing further up, and it means McGrath's job's a lot easier, and everything's played 10-15 yards further up the pitch, and you've got more men in midfield. But they were trying their best, Aberdeen, there to suck a couple of players out from Helsinki so that McGrath on the edge of the box could get some spare, but Lingman wasn't for letting them go.
Here's Hostika down the left for Helsinki. It's infield to Keskin. He's on the edge of the box. Chance for the shot, blocked by Angus MacDonald, crucially, because that looked like it was going on target. Now it breaks for Polvara in the penalty area, controls it and lashes it out for a throw-in on the far side. Some claims from the home fans for a handball as the wind just whips around this icy cold stadium. And credit to both sets of players for dealing with the conditions and putting on a good game, because it does not look easy out there at all. Pitch covered in snow, it's freezing cold, and it's been a good spectacle. Here's Helsinki coming forward, but it's a poor pass which Jensen picks off. Then it falls for Sockler, who moves it out to the left touchline, and Hayes, who fires it up, and that was going to McGrath, but Sockler got in the way of it, which means it breaks for Helsinki, but Jensen heads it back out of defence. Here's Sockler, a lovely little pass through a gap, but Barron wasn't quite on the same wavelength, but it breaks for Jensen, who gives it to Polvara, who's got space to run into. He's over halfway, he's given it to Sockler, who's up towards the edge of the box, tries to take it inside Halme. It's deflected off the defender though, but it's back with Barron. Aberdeen out to the left with Hayes, who tries to get away from Bandy but gets a tackle in. It's going to run out towards the byline. Aberdeen looking to force a corner through Hayes, but it's away from Suiri to Bandy, and then he gets it back and he plays it up to Kanalopoulos. That was well played from Helsinki, playing out from their own corner flag, and then Radulovic gives it to Hostika, and now Milne read that really well. It was an underhit pass, Keskinen was in if that went to feet, and then it's deflected up, and Radulovic is going to pounce on this in the edge of the Aberdeen box. He's into the penalty, and it's Bodan Radulovic, and then it's saved by Roos, and then it falls for Radulovic, who looks to turn in the rebound, and there's a claim for a penalty as there was a tug as Radulovic went to turn in the rebound, but the flag was up for offside, and Aberdeen survive. Is it Rubizic? No, it's not Rubizic, it's MacDonald who was accused of pulling back Radulovic, but it remains Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, well, they'll check to see if it's offside first and foremost. My initial instinct was that it was offside, and then after that, if he is onside, then they'll check for the penalty kick, which again, in my opinion, it was a penalty kick. However, I do have a small screen in front of me here, so we'll see. Yeah, he's well offside, so the goal won't. The penalty incident becomes irrelevant, and he's offside. But Rubizic a little bit slack in possession there. He's been much better in this second half, but little lapse in concentration there.
Yeah, he smashed it into a Helsinki player, and it just deflected up into the air and fell for Radulovic. Good save from Roos.
Yeah, it was.
And he was going to tap in the rebound, but there was an arm in from MacDonald. But we reckon it's offside, but there's still no conclusion on the field. The referee, Genk Mutsa from Kosovo, and now the decision has been confirmed offside, so it'll be a free kick from where Rubizic gave away the ball, and Aberdeen go short to Conor Barron. You're listening to Sports Sounding on BBC Radio Scotland. Aberdeen level at 2-2 with HJK Helsinki, having been 2-0 down. Rangers against Aris Limassol to come in the Europa League. Kick-off from 8 as soon as we're done here. Aberdeen looking to secure third spot in Group G in the Conference League. They can do that with a victory, and they've been much better in the second half, and Duke has grabbed them an equaliser. and it's a free kick to Helsinki in the centre circle. And they've kind of composed themselves a bit in the last couple of minutes, and it's back out to the left-hand side, and Topi Keskinen comes in, works space for a shot, but he opts to give it to Peltola, then back out to the left-hand side. Helsinki probing patiently, and then a pass intercepted from McGrath, but it falls again for the home side. Here's Keskinen turning away from Milne, he puts on the afterburn, he's into the box, great ball, but McDonald was well positioned to intercept it and put it out for a throw-in on the far side, but that's better from the home side, Rory.
Yeah, it is. To and fro in the game now slightly. Aberdeen looking much better in possession and offensively. However, Helsinki showing after a quiet opening 20 minutes to the second half that they're capable of scoring themselves.
Here they come, the home side again. It's a long ball. They're looking for that run of Keskinen all the time in behind Milne, but Milne has got to that one. Keskinen hadn't even made the run on that occasion, but Aberdeen lose out. Povara giving it away in his own half, and here's Lingman. He's going to fire the cross towards Radulovic, but Jensen was positioned expertly, and then there's a little slip on the edge of the box from Hayes, but he gets up and closes the gap. It's round to Swiri, little step over on the right hand side, nudges it to Hostika, scorer of Helsinki's second. Tricky customer as he proved in the first half, and now Lingman trying to jink away from Barron, but he's been forced to the byline. Helsinki looking for space. That's a wonderful pass to Swede. He gets the byline, fires it right across, but there's no one in blue and white waiting for it. It's a red jersey that's there to clear, and now Duke is going to try and launch the counter, but it comes off Halme. Breaks back for Lingman. Now Helsinki with it on the edge of the penalty area. Out to Hostika on the right hand side. His cross is blocked by Jensen. It's spinning, stays in the field. Duke takes it, holds off one man, and he's looking for a pass, gives it to Jensen, who gives it along the deck, but it doesn't fall for Barron, and it goes out for a throw into Helsinki. It's very frantic.
Yeah, it is, but it's really good defending from Richard Jensen, I have to say. You know, he's the left of a three, and he's happy to go out into those positions, those wider positions, and help Johnny Hayes when he has to, and that means that Angus MacDonald and Rubicic can make up the two centre-backs in the box who you want clearing any danger that comes into the box, and you've got Milne at the back stick sweeping anything up, and that's where we're a little bit critical of Rubicic at times. He wants to stay in the box when he doesn't have to be in the box. He has to get out wide and help Jack Milne.
Triple sub coming for Helsinki. Pepperin Hetamai, who's playing his final home game for the club. He's going to retire and become a coach. He's on. Thomas Olila is on, and Jukka Raitala is on. So triple sub made by Toni Korkeakunas in his final home game as Helsinki manager, as he looks to go for this. Olila in particular, the wing back, he's got 10 goals this season. Really tricky customer. 8 assists as well. He'll provide a threat down the left hand side. He'll double up with Keskinen, so that'll be a danger area. It already has been for Aberdeen with Rubicic and Milne playing out there. So Alila and Keskinen will play down the left. Perperim Hetamai will move into midfield, and he's got great experience, over 250 appearances in Italy, a lot of which with Chievo in Serie A, and the referee is now over conversing with officials on the touchline, some from Aberdeen. Not sure what's going on down there. Duke's across. I saw Sockler was there getting some instructions from the coaching staff as well. Not quite sure what's going on down in front of us.
The only thing I can think is that, you know, they want to get the lines cleared, so let the tractors go round again, you know, take a couple of minutes just to clear it. But
the touchline in front of us is very difficult to see, and as I say, I feel for the players. They've done incredibly well, put on a good game in these conditions, because it's really difficult. And on we go. Throw in. It's back with Apo Halme, the centre half. He's out on the right hand side. Duke closes him down. He goes long. Jensen gets the header. It doesn't go as far as Hayes though, and Lingman picks up. Helsinki out on the right of the Aberdeen box. Here's Swiri. Tries to jink away from 3 red shirts, but it's 1. And McGrath then plays it to Duke. He's midway through his own half. He's held off a player, and then he's given it to McGrath, who was free and running over the halfway line, but the referee's blown for an Aberdeen free kick anyway. I think McGrath is saying, oh, there was an advantage to be played there.
Yeah, there was. And whilst all that was going on, Barry Robson was very animated with, again, we don't know if it's a UEFA delegate or whether it's the 4th official who's just wrapped up and keeping himself warm, or what's going on, but there's a lot of conversation being had, shall we say.
Well, Milne has just slipped there, and there's a couple of players just starting to slip and slide on the surface, and I just wonder if the coaches are saying, look, is this safe at the moment? Here's Duke, infield to Hayes, left hand side of the Helsinki box. Duke, right footed pass along the deck to Barron. and he's tried to force it to McGrath, but it's intercepted by Hetemai, who tries the long ball, hits off Barron, falls for Radulovic on halfway, gives it back to Hetemai. Gives it back to Suwiri. Helsinki forced all the way back into their own half. HJK 2, Aberdeen 2. We've played 70 minutes here at the Bolt Arena. Can either side find a winner? If Aberdeen could, it would secure third spot in the group with a game to spare, for what it's worth. And Helsinki, though, coming forward through Keskinen. He's surging in from the left, he's dribbling and he just loses his balance and goes to deck. Helsinki wanted a foul, they're not getting it. Barron launches it long for Sokler, but that's not going to reach him. It goes all the way behind, out for a throw in on the far side. And the game's just maybe calmed down a wee bit in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think that's to do with all the commotion which is going on off the pitch. It's maybe the referee keeps glancing over to his fourth official, not quite sure what's going on and what's been said, and so it's difficult for us to tell you when you're listening, wherever you're listening. But your game, the sting has been taken out of it massively in the last few minutes, but hopefully it picks up again and hopefully Aberdeen can find a winner.
And Mindpat, not a convincing clear out, but a poor touch from Barron, but he's done well to get a foot on it to win it back, and then Aberdeen go long towards Duke, and the defender gets a shout from the goalkeeper, and Mindpat, the keeper, collects it, and he's back in the sides. He's not played much part, the first choice goalkeeper in this campaign, injured himself after 13 minutes of their opener against PAOK, missed the rest of the games, and he came back in, well, not the rest of the games, he came back in against Frankfurt last time, fit again at the end of the season. Aberdeen, I want to try and put Helsinki under pressure because they have lost 4 in a row despite clinching the title. Perhaps not full of confidence as Barron's tripped in the centre circle. Aberdeen free kick, and they went quickly and Hetemai just intercepted it, so that's sloppy from Aberdeen. The snow really is covering the pitch now, and here comes Lingman forward, right touchline with a pass to Suwiri. He's going to try and take on Hayes and Jensen. He's going to the byline. Suwiri's got pace. Hayes slides in, but then there's a dummy from Suwiri back to Lingman, corner of the box. He dummies and goes down the line as well, but he's not got space to get away from Jensen. Then Suwiri tries to go around Hayes again. This time he does. He gets a cross in, and Roos has to make the save, and then Radulovic on the byline cuts it back to Hetemai, who's somehow fired it over from the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, what a moment. He's got his face buried in snow. It's his final game as a player at the Bolt Arena, and he's passed up a wonderful chance to put his side back in front. 2-all.
It's a bit of a sitter there, Thomas. You have to say, it's the goal is gaping. The right hand side of the goal, all he's got to do is pass it into the side net, and he fluffs his lines. Maybe the pressure got to him. With it being his last appearance here, a bit of a legend. Really bad miss that. Aberdeen should be behind.
Aberdeen try and play out Barron, and he's fouled by Marty Peltola. Yeah, he's loved round here. He scored both their goals in the Europa League group stages last term against Roma and Ludogorets. He's a quality player, as I said, loads of Serie A experience in the latter years, or the very last year of his career. He's come back to HJK and he's come off the bench, and what a chance that was for a perfect send-off that Aberdeen survive. And it's still 2-all. We've played 73 minutes. Commentary from Ibrox to come here on Sportssound, and again the referee stopped play, and there's again conversations going on down on the touchline in front of us. Unfortunately, we don't know what these are about, and the players are coming off. The players are coming off. They're going down the tunnel. The players are going for the changing rooms, which can only mean that presumably there's a break to clear the pitch.
Yeah, you'd like to think so, because it's playable. You just need to get the snow off it.
Yeah, the players are a way off, and I think that's what Barry Robson and his coaching staff were urging of the UEFA delegate or down below, that it was starting to get not safe. There were players slipping and sliding on the surface. It is covered in a lot of snow, and here's one tractor appeared to go along the touchlines at least, because it's hard to see the lines, and the players have coped admirably, but it is an issue of safety, and they're away into the tunnel, and I'm jealous of them because I could do with a wee bit of a heat.
Yeah, Gartenman and Miowski seem to have been going through their paces over the last 5 minutes or so, so I think a few changes were in the offing for Aberdeen, but I don't see it being a problem playing on once the pitch is scraped.
Yeah, well, we got half an hour from half time, the work they did at half time, so hopefully they clear it here, and that's enough. Let's get the thoughts of Willie on what he's seen in this second half. Willie, as the tractors do their work.
Well, it's been much better, hasn't it? I think Aberdeen have shown a lot of resilience. They have shown resilience in certain games this season as well. It's been another game where, you know, really poor the first half, and you know, and I don't necessarily think it's been the substitutions, although they have made an impact. I think Sockler in particular has made an impact. I think it's just, you know, being able to get the wing backs a little bit further forward and understand how to put the opposition under a little bit of pressure. And they don't like it when they're under pressure, when Aberdeen play a slightly higher line, you know, and don't allow them the space that they were allowed in the first half. So much better in the second half. It's been a good game of football, actually. I think Helsinki have played reasonably well too. You know, Aberdeen more dominant early in that second half, but Helsinki coming back into it, and obviously another huge chance for them, you know, put over the bar, where Aberdeen, you know, can count themselves a little bit fortunate that it doesn't end up in the back of the net. But I think it's about resilience, isn't it? It's about, you know, understanding how to put the opposition under a bit of pressure, not allowing them, you know, the space, particularly in midfield, being more compact as well, and having a focal point up top. I mean, I thought Gay, I was with Rory, I thought Gay did okay. You know, he worked extremely hard. He puts a kind of a physical performance in. I thought it was a little bit unfortunate to get the hook at half time, but you know, Sockler's come on, he was alert, you know, for the opportunity that eventually the corner comes in for Duke's goal, well worked goal too. So no, I think Barry Robson will have positives. He'll probably forget about the negatives, i.e. the chances that Helsinki have created in this game, but I think he'll be happy with the resilience. He's put out a team that really is a second string. He's had the opportunity to bring on key players that's made a difference, and it looks as though he's going to bring on more players as well, and hopefully get the victory that you know, gives Aberdeen probably, I would think, what they deserve. No, not probably, definitely what they deserve in this group stages, to finish third in this group, because their performances deserve it.
Willie, would you be surprised if he does bring Majowski on? I don't know if he will. Yeah. He just seemed to be going through his paces. It would seem a bit strange to risk him for 10 minutes in such terrible conditions.
Yeah. You
know, with a game on Sunday, all for the sake of 10 minutes.
I think that's it. That's a question, isn't it, Rory? You know, you bring him on, right? And I understand I would understand if Barry did bring him on to try to get that winner, so that you know, Aberdeen can rightly finish in third spot. I think that would make them, you know, definitely finish in third if they got that victory. So, you know, that's a surprise, isn't it? But on the downside, if he comes on and gets injured and he doesn't make Sunday, then it's a poor decision. So you're balancing it up. I don't know if I'll be surprised if Barry goes for it or not. But at the same time, it's risky. It's a very risky decision. The pitch just looks dreadful, doesn't it? I mean, you know, it's the first half it looked not too bad, but the second half, it looks dangerous. I'm not surprised that the referee has taken the opportunity to get these tractors on. And the good thing about over there, they're well used to the snow, so they've had the tractors in standby.
My toes aren't, Willie, and I can't feel them.
Yeah, I've just watched the progress of Rory's water bottle turn very to almost frozen solid, and my toes have also gone that way as well. We need the Willie Miller heater, I think. This is
Willie, can I just ask you, have you ever scored or attempted to score a goal similar to what centre back Angus MacDonald did this evening?
Oh, many of them, Rory. Come on.
Many attempts or many goals?
No, many goals. I've had more attempts than goals, I must admit, but I've had one or two from outside the box. In fact, I think I scored one against Gothenburg, if my memory serves me right, at Pittodrie from outside the box in European competition. But I don't have Richard Gordon here to correct me if I'm wrong in saying that. But No, and by the way, now that we're talking about it, we're talking about poor conditions. I scored a magnificent goal against Hibs at Pittodrie with about 4 or 5 1-2s, and you know what? It was in the fog, and they had coverage of it in the first half. I scored in the second half.
1-2s in the fog. That is mighty impressive.
They couldn't see it on the camera. You know, it was the commentary was there. But the visual aspect of it wasn't. But yeah, I've scored 1 or 2, Rory, 1 or 2.
Well, the tractors in front of us, the 3 tractors, have almost finished their work. They've done about 70% of the pitch, and they're trying to. It was slowly deteriorating the whole time, and you could just see players just starting to lose their balance. And one, it's a safety issue, but 2, you don't want the game to be decided on a slip or something on this surface. But even with it cleared, it could well be, which is obviously unfortunate. But hopefully we'll get back out. The clock hasn't stopped, by the way, so we're going to have no idea how. It's about 14 minutes left to play when this game resumes.
I think as well, I mean, we haven't really mentioned him other than the saves he's made, but Kelle Roos has played a massive part in this game because he's kept the score down for Helsinki and given Aberdeen a platform to work from. And there was one that was offside as well, the initial save earlier from Kelle Roos. He didn't know it was offside. It was a wonderful save as well, as the Finnish Christmas songs begin to play in the background.
Jingle bells.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit of light relief, I'm sure, for the fans. I'm sure that fan from Nudeer will be well impressed with the way that they're dealing with the snow. You know, he says he was well impressed because they're used to snow and they know how to handle it. That's certainly the case here. How quickly they're clearing the pitch, isn't it? It's very impressive.
You can see that in the streets around the place and things like that as well. And I'm just glad that these Christmas songs aren't 500 decibels louder, too loud. Sorry, it's a pleasant change.
It's a nice little interlude, and now the Aberdeen fans are hitting the tractors with some snowballs, and so I mean that's not going to help with the clearing of the pitch, I have to say. But Craig Sampson, the goalkeeping coach for Aberdeen, is out, and Kelle Roos is on the touchline down in front of us getting balls pelted at him, and the players from Aberdeen are back out. They're running onto the pitch. They're going to do a wee warm-up, I think, down at the corner flag in front of their own fans, while the tractors finish the final strip.
And we've got our answer as well. Bojan Miovski is amongst them, as is Nicky Devlin.
Yeah, so that's interesting, Willie. So Barry Robson, clearly he's got them back into the game, and he's thinking, we can go for this, we can get the win, and we can secure third spot in this group. It's there for the taking.
Yeah, I'm sure that's his thought. And I think having gone through this group section and having had the performances that they've had, he'll want to finish third. Plus, there is the prize money as well that Rory was speaking about earlier. So he's taking that chance. It is a chance, I think, in these conditions. But obviously Barry thinks it's a worthwhile opportunity to try and win this game, and get themselves into that third spot and secure that third spot.
Still no sign of the Helsinki players, by the way. Aberdeen are out doing their warm-up away to our left in front of their fans, as I say, doing their little drills. Kelle Roos is doing some drills down the other end of the pitch with the goalkeeping coaches. No sign of... Oh, there they are. Helsinki have appeared at the mouth of the tunnel, and they're out and they're going to do their warm-up. I just wonder, it wasn't a huge break, Rory, but just as a player in the changing room, or as a coach or the manager even, a chance, it might be an invaluable chance to get a couple of messages on, maybe, try and fire the players up. I don't know how you take it as a player, a little unexpected gap of about 7, 8, 9 minutes.
Well, I think if this break had come half an hour into the first half, Barry Robson would have been absolutely delighted to get the chance to get his players in and talk to them. But it was a stage of the game where both teams looked like they could potentially go on and score again. To be honest, I don't think it would be ideal for either side, although the game needed it in terms of the pitch being cleared. But really, really positive changes from Barry Robson. It looks like Duke and Jack Milne have went off. So I think they'll go for it in this period, in this final 15 minutes or whatever's left to play. But Helsinki will be thinking the same. They're in with a chance as well. But I don't think either team would have wanted that break necessarily. But given the nature of the first half, it would have been a delight, I think, for Barry Robson to have it after half an hour of that half.
And I suppose, Willie, when you make 7 changes, you're hoping perhaps as a manager to yourself that the players that are out there at least stay in the game. And when you've got a strong bench, the likes of Miovski, McGrath, Shinnie's on there as well, although it doesn't look like he's going to see any action. But But then if the guys who start are still in the game, then you can make some really strong changes as the Aberdeen fans start dancing in the away end.
Yeah, I think he made a sensible choice by making the changes. At the start of the game, they've definitely rode their luck, but they're in this game. They've got a chance of winning it, so he sees that opportunity. He's got a strong bench. He can make the changes, and hopefully, from Barry Robson's point of view, there isn't any injuries going forward.
Yeah, well, the players are back on the pitch. The referee's saying let's get on with it, but there's going to be another change for Helsinki. Anthony Olusanya is going to come on, the striker, and those changes for Aberdeen as well. Devlin and Miofsky are by the pitch waiting to come on. It's Apo Halme, the centre half, who's replaced by Anthony Olusanya. He's got 5 goals in 35 appearances this season, got a goal against Karabag in the Europa League qualifiers. So Helsinki obviously in the same mindset as Aberdeen. Both are flinging on strikers and saying, we've got 14 minutes left, let's go for it.
Yeah, sorry, I was distracted there. There's 2 fans, ultra fans from Helsinki behind the goal with taking their tops off, which it was quite unbelievable given the nature of the conditions. But look, I think Devlin will give you an attacking option going forward. Jack Milne isn't natural to him to maybe run forward, and Devlin chips in with goals at times as well, so it's a real sign that Barry Robson feels that they can go on and win this match, and I don't see any reason why they can't either, to be honest.
Right, the players are all back in position. Thanks to Willie Miller for helping us through that little interludes as the players went back in. The pitch has been cleared, but the snow is already coming, has not relented really, so they're going to have to, hopefully it's enough to try and get this game done. It's going to restart with a throw into Helsinki in their own half. Fieri Suiri throws it up towards halfway, and we are back underway at the Bolt Arena. 14 minutes or so left, although the clock in the stadium says 86 and a half, so I don't know if they've kept the clock running and they'll add it on the stoppage time or what, but on we go. And it's Olila, the substitute, who's coming forward into the Aberdeen half. Back to Hetemai in the middle of the pitch. Helsinki looking to exert some pressure. Aberdeen forwards for Helsinki. McDonald gets a foot in and it breaks for Polvara. Back to Barron outside his own box, gives it to Hayes, who knocks it back to Kelarus, who's in the 6-yard box and puts the left foot through it. It's quite high. McGrath controls it brilliantly and then helps it on to Bojan Miofsky, who tries to head it to Sokler, but it's intercepted by Tenho. And then Rubizic rarely misses a duel, and then Hetemai gets a foot in. He's going to try and chase this and keep it in, but he doesn't, and it'll go behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. It's Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2. And we've got about 12 minutes left as both sides seek a winner, and what would give them both a first win in this Conference League Group G. PAOK and Eintracht Frankfurt already through. They play 8 o'clock UK time. Aberdeen with Frankfurt to come in their last game at home, but here come Helsinki. Lingman skips away from Polvara, then gives it to Keskinen, left hand corner of the box. He's into the penalty area, he's got Rubizic in front of him, gives it into the middle of the box. Olusanya saved by Roos, rebound is Sklaft, and Aberdeen, well, that's a big let off once again, but again they've got Kelarus to thank for keeping them level. Here's Suiri, his cross blocked by Jensen, controlled up to Sokler, and then it's a free kick, I think, to Aberdeen. What a save again from Kelarus.
Yeah, it was a really good move from Helsinki. Lingman nutmegs Polvara in the middle of the pitch. Really nice play. Plays it out wide to Keskinen, who cuts it back. And you would say he has to score, given the first touch is very good. Olusanya pulls the trigger. Kelarus equal to it again. And like I said, he's been one of the top performers, if not the top performer for Aberdeen tonight.
Rubizic intercepts Lingman's ball forward, it breaks for Miofsky, controls it on the chest, right foot to Nicky Devlin, who's high up the pitch. He's forced to turn away from goal though, gives it to Polvara, then Barron, then squeezes it through to a gap to Polvara, but he took his eye off the ball, breaks back for Barron, then into the feet of Polvara. He's coming towards the edge of the box. McGrath with a 1-2 with Polvara, then slides in, he's slipped and he's taken one right to the face. Oh, that looked really sore from the challenge onto Polvara. He just slipped as he looked to control that, and he got a boot right in the face. Oh, that's a dreadful one, and it's really accidental because he's just slipped.
Yeah, he gets it right in the face, as you say there. I don't think it's a foul, I just think it's a coming together in really difficult conditions, and I think they're very unfortunate there to concede the free kick, Helsinki. But this is what 20, 25 yards out. Perfect opportunity to test the goalkeeper, and Jamie McGrath has been here before on European nights around this time.
Yeah, well, he stepped up against PAOK in Thessaloniki and fired one in from further out than this, and he'll go for it again. It was perhaps harsh on Helsinki because Povara went into the challenge and he just slipped, and the player wasn't ready for it and ended up clattering into him. But this is a great chance for Aberdeen. 25 yards out, McGrath, and so the clock has still gone running, and it's been kept running because they've just put up 16 minutes of added time. So we've got 16 minutes left to play here in Helsinki, and Jamie McGrath has the ball in front of him, ready to strike it. It's McGrath with a right foot. It's saved by the goalkeeper and put behind for a corner to Aberdeen. It was well struck, it was on target, but Mindpad does his job.
Yeah, it was a really good strike. Probably not as good as the one in Greece from McGrath, but it's a decent strike. One of those knuckleballs, as they say. It moves in the air. Barry Robson, I can see him shouting, frustrated. He wanted his strikers to be following in.
It was the defender, Suidi, who was there first, but Barron swings the corner into the back post. Helsinki head on it, but it's up in the air, and then the foul is given in favour of the home sides, and they'll get the chance to clear their box. Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2, live on Sports Sound. We'll be at Ibrox as soon as we're done here for Rangers Europa League game against Aris Limassol, winning their through. Rangers the only side to win a game in Europe for Scotland's season, of course, so far. Can Aberdeen change that here? We've got 15 minutes left to play after that stoppage for the pitch to be cleared for snow. McGrath on halfway gives it to Devlin, who's run onto the ball, and he's going to go a little run up the right hand side, and he's stabbed it through for McGrath, who's on the right hand side of the box. Dummies, cuts inside, he's into the box. McGrath left footed shot deflected behind for a corner, but Aberdeen smell blood here, and Jamie McGrath oh so close again.
Well, they're finishing strong, and you know, you slowly start to drip feed your main starting players into the team. You can really see the difference. Jamie McGrath's made a difference. Good run by Devlin as well there. Good cut back from chop, and it goes out for a corner.
Corner on the far side. Aberdeen want a winner here. It's into the 6-yard box, and Mindpat comes. He's had space, but he didn't catch it. He's punched it out to the left hand side, where McDonald collects along the deck infield to Jensen. Back to Nicky Devlin in the centre circle, and over to Jamie McGrath, who goes long in the air with the right foot. It's over Sockler. It's going to fall for Rubezic in the middle of the pitch. He's going to go a little run out to the right wing. He's holding off Radulovic, and then he slips it down to Sockler, but he's overrun it, and it's out for a throw into Helsinki on the far side. So it's Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, the goalkeeper hasn't looked particularly convincing tonight. Mindpat, he's had a good career actually. He's played in the Netherlands, he's played in England, he's played in Italy. He played for Brighton and Bristol City in England, but he's looked very unsure from corners. He wants to punch everything.
He's got the short sleeves on as well, brave man, standing about in that. He is finished, so probably used to it. And Helsinki have gained a few yards and won another throw-in in the Aberdeen half on the far side. And it's a compelling end to this Conference League tie. There was nothing to choose between the teams at Pittodrie. Miofsky cancelling out Radulovic's opener. And once again, Helsinki were in front here, 2 goals in front this time, and Aberdeen have got themselves back level. And it's with Devlin on the right-hand touchline in his own half. He's got a bit of space, gives it to Povara, who's closed down by Keskinen. And then it's across to McDonald outside his own box, and Jensen on the left-hand side, shut down by Olasanya. Left foot diagonal pass up towards Miofsky's flicked on, and Sockler's going to try and chase this, and he just is beaten to it by Miro Tenho, who hacks it out for a throw into Aberdeen in line with the Helsinki 18. Hayes has it in his grasp. He's waiting for an option. Barron's coming across, as is McGrath. McGrath controls it right on the edge. He's got 3 blue and white shirts around him, and he's hit it off one of them, Peltola, and it's out for another Aberdeen throw-in. We've played 4 minutes of the 16 that have been added after the delay. Thrown into the feet of Povara, back to Johnny Hayes. trying to find space just to cross, but he's crowded out, and then Hetemai gets one off Barron, but it's kept in brilliantly by Hayes. Then Barron, then round the corner for McGrath. He just can't control it as he was kind of falling backwards almost, and it's behind for a Helsinki goal kick. It's 2-2 here at the Bolt Arena.
Yeah, I've just got a wee sneaky feeling that Aberdeen, they're hungry, they want to go and win this game. You can see that. You know, they're not happy to see this game out at 2 each. They feel it can be won. I've just got a wee feeling for them that they might get it done.
Yeah, and after Barry Robson has talked so positively about the performances in Europe, that would be a great fillip for him and his team, especially with 7 changes from the start tonight, to come away with a victory to show for their efforts. No group stage win for Aberdeen since they were last in group stage action in the UEFA Cup in 2007-8 season. Can they get it this evening? Helsinki will have something to say about that as Radulovic receives the throw and he gives it to Hetemai, middle of the pitch, midway through Aberdeen's half, out to the right touchline, controlled to Sweary. He's going to try and shake off Barron, which he gives it to Lingman, who's going to cross with the left foot, it bounces and then it's hacked to the feet of Olasanya, and then it's coming in for Hetemai, who slides in and catches Hayes, and it's behind for a goal kick. But well, it was allowed to bounce in the Aberdeen box there. I was expecting maybe the goalkeeper to come and collect that one, but the defender then played it and then it broke for Olasanya. Jensen, and he's given it away with a long ball straight to Peltola, and now here's Keskinen over on the right hand side, intercepted, and it's going to break for Ester Sokler. He's going to dribble over halfway, it's just him and Miofsky, but now McGrath's trying to join the attack, but Peltola gets back and gets a foot in, and Helsinki win the ball back, and Hetemai passes it over halfway towards the right hand touchline, which is disappearing as the snow continues to come down. Here's Suiri running at Hayes. He's come infield, right hand corner of the box. His pass is deflected, Barron can't get there. Lingman picks up, tries to jink away from Barron, and then the pass is cut out. Hayes wins it, and it's an Aberdeen free kick for a pull, and the frustration of the home fans is aired from the stands. And we've played now 6 of the 16 added, so we've got 10 minutes left here at Helsinki as the snow comes down very heavily. It's very light snow, very close to sleet you would say, but it's making it so difficult for these players. They've coped admirably as Rubizic wins the ball, and it's gone forward to Sokler, intercepted by Raitala, and it'll be a free kick. Sokler with a foul.
Yeah, it's quite strange, the snow as well. I mean, it's dead light. It doesn't look like it should be covering the pitch as quickly as it is. And that certainly is the case. That was a very unnecessary foul there, I have to say, from Sokler. No need.
Given away though by Radulovic to Sokler, and he passes it back over halfway to Rubizic, and Jensen out to Hayes. Olasanya comes to meet him. Hayes plays up the line to Miofsky. Midway through the Helsinki half, he's turned away from one. Miofsky's looking for support, and then he's got away from another, and then he's nudged it to Hayes on the left hand side. Brilliant from Miofsky. It's fired into the box. Sokler gets his head on it. It was wide of the target, but then hit off a Helsinki player anyway, and Aberdeen will have to start again through Rubizic. Touch to Barron, stabs it forward for Sokler. He gets a flick on, and it'll go harmlessly through to the goalkeeper. HJK 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, he wanted the ball back there, Miofsky, from Hayes. I mean, he just does his class. Bojan Miofsky. He's got head and shoulders for me above anyone on the pitch at times. Lovely nutmeg, out of nowhere, plays the pass, very good.
Oh, and then there's a free kick in the middle of the pitch, and then it's a bit of afters from Hetemai, and Keskinen's involved with Devlin, and Sokler's getting involved. There's pushing and shoving. Radulovic is in there. It's a bit of a scrum over on the far side. It's kind of needless as well. It was a obvious free kick, and then the Helsinki player just piled in afterwards. His side had already got the foul, but then there was a bit of pushing and shoving, and the referee is telling them to calm down. I wonder if there'll be a couple of yellow cards issued here. Nicky Devlin's been called over, Keskinen's there as well. I wonder if he'll just book them both. That's exactly what he does. And bit of needle to finish off as both sides go for a winner, Rory.
Yeah, the problem is every time the match is delayed through silly things like that, they end up both getting booked. But the more times that happens, the quicker the pitch is becoming unplayable again.
Yeah, and I'm freezing, so let's get this over with. It's
not before an Aberdeen winner, Thomas, come on.
Well, it's Helsinki who have the chance to score a winner with this attack as Olila delivers the free kick. It's really high to the back post. Peltola gets a cross on it and bounces at the edge of the box. There's no one in blue and white there, and Barron picks up. He's got 4 players round him. He's done well to hold on to it, nudges it back to the goalkeeper, who's going to just leather it up the pitch. And you don't blame him in these conditions. You're just terrified as he took a run up there that he was just going to slip, because that's what the pitch looks like. The tractors that cleared it already, it's covered again, and it's Helsinki that come forward. We've got 7 minutes left. It's 2-2 between Helsinki and Aberdeen. Sweary down the right hand side trying to get away from Jensen. There's a foot in though, and Aberdeen win it, and then it goes towards Miofsky. Took his eye off the ball uncharacteristically, let it run under his foot, and Helsinki have it again. It's the home side who have controlled things in the last couple of minutes. So Lila gives it to Peltola, and he's under pressure from Sokler, but he manages to shake him off, and then he fires it along the deck to Hetemai, left hand corner of the box, 30 yards out into Radulovic, edge of the area, back out to Hetemai, left corner of the box. Now Keskinen back to Hetemai. Aberdeen step up, try and get a press on. It's good work from Barron, but then Hetemai, good composure, but he's giving it straight to Rubezic, who's then tries to find Miofsky, but it's just in front of him as he went over halfway, and the snow is now being blown directly in our faces, and it's so tricky for the players as the ball bounces and goes back to Kel Roos, who lets it run into his box under pressure from Olasanyan. You have sympathy with him. I can't see the line of the box, but the goalkeeper luckily could. And now Aberdeen go up the pitch. Sliding tackle comes in from Sweary to prevent Hayes running onto it. Throw into Aberdeen in Helsinki territory. 2-2 live on Sports Sounds. We'll be at Ibrox straight after this one for Rangers against Aris. But right now, Aberdeen are going in search of a first win in Europe this season. They've battled back from 2 goals down.
I have to say as well, the fans who travelled in their numbers to all 3 countries, Finland, Greece and Germany, have had their money's worth of entertainment. Plenty of goals from Aberdeen, very competitive.
Back to the goalkeeper, Mainpa, under a bit of pressure from Sokler, gets it long. Keskinen controls just inside his own half. Devlin gets in there though, and he tries to play up the line, but it was nowhere near Sokler, but he was fouled off the ball after he hit that, and Aberdeen will have a free kick just over the halfway line. And Aberdeen, after those couple of efforts from McGrath, it's been HJK that have had the ball under their spell, so Aberdeen, Rory, will need to try and reassert themselves a bit here.
Yeah, they will. It's not long left at all. I know there's a bit of added time to go, but you still get the feeling that if the ball can fall to someone in the box, preferably Miofsky, then Aberdeen have still got a chance of winning this.
Barron's going to launch this from deep with the right foot. It's high in the air, up to the edge of the box. Rubezic goes up. It's come off the head of a Helsinki player and out towards the left touchline, where Jensen collects, the Finnish international in his home country, goes down the wing and he's won a throw in. Really good play from Richard Jensen, and the referee is
certainly didn't look out. I mean, he's given the throw to Helsinki. He says the ball was out. Jensen's remonstrating, as he should be, because it certainly didn't look out from here.
Yeah, hard to tell given how faint the lines are under that snow. And then a free kick's been given against Aberdeen, a few protests there, and then the ball's been thrown up in the air, and the fans are wanting a booking for that, but just throwing it towards the spot that needed to be taken. But Mainpa with the ball at his feet. It's HJK 2, Aberdeen 2. It's long, bounces, McDonald gets a head on it, it's going to break for Radulovic, then it's well defended by Rubezic, then Polvara loses out to Hetemai, it breaks for Olila on the left hand side. He's going to come in field and he passes it down the line to Keskinen, left hand corner of the box, out to Hetemai on the touchline. Snow pours down now in Helsinki, and it's back to Peltola. McGrath's trying to put pressure on, but the Finnish player gets away from him really well, and then he's fizzed a pass into the edge of the box. Hayes clears it up in the air. It's going to fall for McGrath, controls it really well, and he's spun a ball in behind for Ester Sokler to chase. It's 2-on-2 at the back. Sokler's far away from Miofsky. He's up towards the edge of the box. It's Ester Sokler, gives it to Miofsky. It's Bojan Miofsky, but he couldn't get it out his feet properly, and he's fired it straight at the goalkeeper, and the chance is gone.
Yeah, the touch and pass from Jamie McGrath was exceptional. Killed it stone dead in the middle of the pitch, touch forward, played in Ester Sokler, who you don't blame him for passing to Miofsky, but Miofsky maybe a little bit cold for him off the bench. not a finish you would typically associate with him.
And it's deflected into the path of Sokler again. He's up towards the left-hand corner of the box. He's going to cross it to the back post. The defender was there and had to make the interception. It was Jukka Raitala. If he missed it, Miovski was in at the back post, but he made the challenge. Aberdeen now asking a couple of questions. We've got 2 minutes of the 16 added left, I think, and it's forward for Sokler. He looked offside. Flag stays down for now. He's on the left-hand side of the area. And a sliding challenge comes in from Lingman, and he catches Ester Sokler, and he's going to go in the book, and it's getting fiery out there. And that looked a sore one. As we just look at a mini screen in front of us, it's caught him.
Yeah, he has caught him. I mean, I don't think his foot is all that high. However, you talk about excessive force. You know, that was completely needless. He was never going to win the ball. I think there's an argument there that should be a straight red card. He may get away with it given his foot wasn't that high.
The referee has been fairly lenient, and Johnny Hayes is going to have the O'Connor Barons over it as well. One of those Aberdeen players is going to deliver it from the left-hand side. There's a VAR check going on in the background, presumably to check if this is a red card for Lucas Lingman. The referee's got his hand to his ear. He's conversing with Hayes and Barron at the moment. This game is never going to end.
He meets the criteria for a red card in terms of being out of control and excessive force. So, you know, whether it's enough to get the red card or for it to be a red card, should I say, I'm not quite sure, but it's certainly one they'll need to have a look at.
Referee still with his hands to his ear, and he's check over, so no red card for Lucas Lingman. And Aberdeen will have the free kick left hand side of the box. Hayes has departed the scene, so it's going to be Connor Barron to swing this one in with the right foot. Now the referee, I thought, had signalled for it was going to be play on. He walked away from Barron, stopped holding his ear, but now he's back. He's touched his ear again, so not sure what's happening here.
If it does stay as a yellow card, I think it's because he doesn't show his studs. You know, his foot, his toes are pointing to the ground, shall we say, as opposed to in the air.
Well, now the referee's walked away, so no red card for Lingman, and Barron will deliver the free kick. Big chance for Aberdeen. Comes in with the right foot. It's come off the back of a head to mine, then it's hooked in towards the target and it's saved. But it was Sokler who took it on the turn, and Mindpad dived. Has the referee blown for a free kick? I think he has, and so it wouldn't have counted anyway.
I think it was for a pull, Thomas, in the box. It was difficult to see, a whole lot of bodies in there, but I think it was for a pull from an Aberdeen player. I didn't see a lot myself.
Jensen back facing his own goal on the edge of his box, has just get something on it to clear it out for a throw in on this near side. The snow is as bad on the pitch as it's been, but we're into the final minute or so of this game. HJK Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2, both sides in search of a winner that would get them a first victory in the Conference League group stage this season. The home fans saying something special here in their final game at the stadium this season. Swede throws it to Olasanya. A good challenge from Connor Barron. Gets it further up the pitch, and it'll be a Helsinki throw.
Well, I can certainly see why they don't play through the winter here in Finland.
Yeah, their domestic season finished 5 weeks ago, March to October. Champions again, 12th time in 15 seasons. And they go forward with a long ball. It breaks for Barron in the Aberdeen half. And there is the full-time whistle. So no victory for Aberdeen, nor Helsinki. They'll go to their final game in search of that. Well, what a game it was in snowy, wintry, freezing conditions here in Helsinki. Aberdeen were battered in the first half, you have to say, and fell behind when Hassan Bande capitalised on a Rubizic error to get in behind and smash it past Roos. It was 2-0 when Hostika dribbled away from three players on the edge of the box and lashed it across Roos into the bottom corner. At that stage, Helsinki could add 3 or 4. They hit the post, they hit the bar. Roos made several good saves, but then Angus MacDonald out of nowhere before the break smashed one in from 30 yards out into the top corner. Wonderful strike, and that stirred Aberdeen. And then in the second half, Duke at the back post from a corner forced home the equaliser, and then both sides had chances to find an equaliser. McGrath had a couple for Aberdeen. Roos made a couple of good saves again in the second half. Big performance from the Aberdeen goalkeeper, but Aberdeen's wait for a win in the Europa Conference League goes on as they go across the snowy surface to applaud the 1,500 fans who are singing for their team. Helsinki go to their fans after their final home game ends in a draw. Full time here in Helsinki. It's finished HJK Helsinki 2, Aberdeen 2.